Naruto, the rise of the Uzumaki Clan. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction. So don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 51, Better to leave it to Konoha to squander than to let it shine in the land of whirlpools. Looking back at the three shinobi world wars, Konoha was a completely victorious ninja village. However, after the three wars, Konoha was basically wiped out. Cage-level ninjas were either framed and killed or left the village, and the younger generation of talented ninjas were mostly sold off by the dark shinobi. Unless you had the luck of the Konoha 12, it was better to leave the village, otherwise, it was basically a dead end. Therefore, Hiruzen Sarutobi's tenure didn't improve Konoha at all, instead, he practically ruined it. Otherwise, how could Orochimaru have almost bankrupted Konoha? If it weren't for the rise of the Konoha 12 later on, Konoha wouldn't have stood a chance. So, rather than letting Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo squander Hashirama's legacy, it would have been better to give it to Jun Uzumaki. After all, Hashirama was the son-in-law of the Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki clan has been an ally of Konoha since ancient times, inheriting some scraps isn't unreasonable. What do you think of Konoha now? Uzumaki Jun asked, looking at the Senju clan members. Senju Hideaki sighed upon hearing Jun's words. Regardless, this is the ninja village established by Lord Hashirama. The Senju clan will never betray the village. He understood Jun's meaning, but he couldn't bring himself to say anything negative about Konoha. The Senju clan deeply revered Hashirama. Even after Hashirama and Tobirama passed away, the Senju clan continued to uphold Hashirama's ideals, sacrificing their lives for the peace of the ninja world and Konoha, until the last Senju clan member died. Otherwise, why would Tsunade have only left the village after her brother's death and her boyfriend's demise, without doing anything? Because she loved the village deeply. And in the end, didn't she return to Konoha and continue to dedicate herself to it? So, the Senju clan has impeccable character. Even if Konoha has 1,000 flaws, they will dedicate their lives to protecting anything Hashirama left behind. So, what kind of treatment do you think you'll receive if you return to the ninja village? Since this approach isn't working, let's try a different angle. Otherwise, continuing to speak ill of Konoha might just make them disliked. They're here to recruit people, not to be hated. Senju Hideaki hesitated for a moment, but finally said firmly, since we disobeyed the Hokage's orders, then we should be punished. Holy crap! This makes it impossible to negotiate? Why is the Senju clan so stubborn? Uzumaki-san doesn't understand why the two founding clans of Konoha are so fixated on trivial matters. If Konoha doesn't welcome them, they can go somewhere else. Why stay in Konoha? Do they really enjoy exterminating their clans? Sigh. Uzumaki-san sighed helplessly. This kind of capable and loyal clan is exactly what the land of whirlpools wants. Now, he could only helplessly say, it's not just you, your entire Senju clan might be implicated. Since that's the case, he had no choice but to lay everything bare. Senju Hideaki's pupils contracted as he looked at Uzumaki Jun and said seriously, the Senju clan won't do anything to betray Konoha, and Konoha won't do anything to betray the Senju clan. How? Uzumaki Jun chuckled. Perhaps the Senju clan wouldn't betray Konoha, but Konoha, that was uncertain. Even the fourth Hokage had been sold out, let alone a clan that had lost the first and second Hokage, had no cage-level shinobi, and was so disobedient. Who knows? The ninja heroes and the ninja dark ones might already be plotting to seize their inheritance and resolve the land annexation issue. The Senju clan had seized a large amount of fertile land. Senju Hideaki sighed upon hearing Uzumaki Jun's words. Sarutobi Hiruzen already disliked the clans within Konoha, and now the Senju clan had even disobeyed the Hokage's orders. It seems the Senju clan really needs to prepare for population reduction. So, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Oops, you have to take risks. Oops. Uzumaki Jun thought for a moment and then said, the Senju clan can split up, sending a portion to the land of whirlpools. That way, even if danger arises, they won't be wiped out. Uzumaki Jun didn't finish the last word, because he knew the Senju clan would understand. If they still disagreed, Uzumaki-jun would ignore them completely. Being too loyal wasn't good either. Who knew they might betray the nation's interests? So when universal education is implemented, the younger generation needs moral education. Senju Hideaki opened his mouth, but didn't know how to answer. Perhaps Uzumaki-jun's method was good, but this wasn't something a lowly jonin like him could decide. You don't need to answer me now, Uzumaki-jun waved his hand and said, I'll go to Konoha later, and then you can tell me your decision. Hearing that he didn't need to decide now, Senju Hideaki breathed a sigh of relief. Perhaps he could ask the clan head? Whatever decision the Senju clan made, they would take it seriously. Because they were ninjas. How will the Uzumaki clan answer? Hazuki Genjutsu asked, frowning. Damn it, as one of the 5 great shinobi villages, having to surrender to a small country was too humiliating. This time, his position as Mizukage was over. He would definitely be dismissed when he returned to the village, and who knew how much debt he would be burdened with. Therefore, Kirigakure couldn't afford to suffer too many losses in this negotiation. Damn Konoha! Hazuki Genjutsu said viciously, his face contorted with rage. If it weren't for Konoha, would they be in this predicament now? Now that Konoha has become the victorious nation and Kirigakure has become the defeated nation, and defeated by a small country at that, who knows what kind of restrictions the daimyo might impose on Kirigakure. If that happens, Hazuki Genjutsu will truly become a sinner against Kirigakure. He dares not even dream of the Mizukage position now, only hoping that Kirigakure won't suffer too many losses. I hope the land of whirlpools won't make exorbitant demands. Hazuki Genjutsu murmured. The Mizukage's assistant, however, was not so optimistic. They were invaders, and the defeated ones at that. How could the land of whirlpools not make exorbitant demands, especially with Konoha backing them? Kirigakure is truly in a dilemma. Originally, it was agreed that Kirigakure would receive the spoils of war from the land of whirlpools and, incidentally, a copy of their sealing techniques, but now, they have failed. They are facing not only the land of whirlpools, but also the other 4 great ninja villages. And all of this is due to Konoha's conspiracy. The Mizukage sighed and said, we shouldn't have trusted Konoha so much. They definitely won't easily let another ninja village produce a Jinchuriki. Sigh. Hazuki Genjutsu shook his head helplessly upon hearing this and said, prepare for negotiations. Kirigakure is one of the 5 great ninja villages, no matter what. We can't let the land of whirlpools hold us back. We must have our own bottom line. All of this. It's all up to you. Chapter 3. Please show your support if you find this helpful. If you think my writing is interesting, please add it to your favorites. My favorites haven't been increasing much lately. Chapter 52. Sorry, no returns after purchase. What are you doing here, Uzumaki ninja? A young Iwa ninja frowned, looking at the 4 Uzumaki ninja loitering at the village entrance. Wasn't the land of whirlpools currently facing annihilation? Why were there suddenly ninja here? Were they here to ask for help? Don't be ridiculous. Why would they ask for help from Iwa, a village with a grudge against Konoha? Who gave the Uzumaki clan the courage to think the Iwa ninja would go back to rescue them? They, Iwa, had also introduced 2-tailed beasts and were worried about finding shelter. We've come on behalf of Lord Jun to make a deal with Itsuchikage. The leader of the Uzumaki ninja stepped forward, looking at the Iwa ninja before him, and said, according to Lord Jun, this invasion of the land of whirlpools wasn't just the idea of Kirigakure, it was a conspiracy by other ninja villages. So, stay calm, don't show weakness, because their Lord Jun is even more powerful. The land of whirlpools will be even stronger then. How? The Iwa ninja sneered upon hearing this. The land of whirlpools has no right to do business with Itsuchikage. Either say it directly, or get lost. A tiny country, a country with only 1 clan, dares to talk to Iwagakure, one of the 5 great ninja villages? Don't be ridiculous. Besides, Prince Jun? Who is he? The prince of the land of whirlpools? How? They have no right to do business with Iwagakure. The land of whirlpools probably just wants their support, but Iwagakure won't offer any support. It's better not to waste time. Hearing the Iwa ninja's blunt refusal, the whirlpool ninja stared at him expressionlessly, but their hands clenched into fists, indicating their inner turmoil. If they hadn't remembered Prince Jun's orders, they would have already attacked. The Uzumaki clan had never suffered such humiliation. Still too weak. The leader of the Uzumaki ninja scoffed inwardly. If their Uzumaki village possessed the aura of the 5 great ninja villages, they wouldn't be looked down upon. Fortunately, everyone remembered their orders, remain calm no matter what, and retreat if things became unwinnable. Time. As long as there's time. The Uzumaki ninjas clenched their fists, their inner screams echoing, as long as there's time, Lord Jun will surely lead the Uzumaki clan to prosperity. Our land of whirlpools has no ill intentions, the leader said calmly, taking a deep breath. We're just here to make a deal with the Iwa ninjas. However, the Iwa ninjas remained disdainful, turning their heads away and ignoring the Uzumaki ninjas. Seeing this, the leader's right fist nearly bled. Damn Konoha, damn the Iwa ninjas. The thing we're trading is a sealing technique to become a Jinchuriki, the leader said, staring intently at the Iwa ninjas. If they didn't respond, the Uzumaki ninjas could prepare to retreat, because the Iwa ninjas would definitely attack at that moment. As expected, the Iwa ninjas surrounded them, their eyes narrowed, their expressions malicious as they stared at the Uzumaki ninja. A Jinchuriki sealing technique, wasn't this exactly what their Iwagakure village desperately needed? Did they have it on them? Were they planning to use it to trade with Iwagakure for reinforcements? But summon the sealing technique, the Iwa leader said coldly, staring at the Uzumaki ninja, as if to say that if they didn't hand it over, they would take it themselves. Seeing this, the Uzumaki ninja immediately became wary. Forming a circle around themselves, shuriken in hand, and shouting at the Iwa ninja surrounding them, even if you fight, you won't get the complete sealing technique. You should know that this has been modified, even ordinary people can become Jinchuriki. Not many in the Uzumaki clan know this. Ordinary people. The Iwa ninja's eyes lit up. They knew that currently, only Mito Uzumaki of the Uzumaki clan had become a Jinchuriki. Everyone else had perished on the path to becoming one, unable to withstand the tailed beast's chakra. If even ordinary people could, it was unimaginable. Look at how powerful Mito Uzumaki was, the god of shinobi. After her brother's death, single-handedly held up Konoha, preventing others from easily attacking it. If both of Iwa's tailed beasts became Jinchuriki, this would be the first step for Iwa to dominate the shinobi world. Are you telling the truth? Even ordinary people can, an Iwa ninja demanded sharply. Of course, this is an improved version, the Uzumaki ninja said expressionlessly. It was modified by the Uzumaki clan elders over 10 years. As for whether the result was actually like this, it wasn't his concern. He had only spoken according to Lord Tsun's requirements, and although it was a bit exaggerated, it was basically accurate. Out of thousands of people, there would always be one lucky one who succeeded. Did that mean ordinary people could withstand the tailed beast's power? As for why the buyer's show and the seller's show were different. Sorry, goods sold are non-refundable. How? The Iwa ninja sneered, glancing at the Uzumaki ninja. How can we trust you? Believe it or not, our land of whirlpools has already given this sealing technique to other ninja villages that possess tailed beasts, the Uzumaki leader said nonchalantly. However, whether the other ninja villages would bite or not, they didn't know. Hand over the sealing technique, and we'll let you leave, the Iwa ninja threatened, narrowing his eyes. Want to do business? Dream on. A mere small country like ours has no right to negotiate with the Iwa ninja village. Even if you don't let us leave, you won't get the sealing technique, the leader of the Uzumaki ninja said expressionlessly. We don't know anything about this sealing technique, we only have half of it. It's useless to you even if you get it. And if the other ninja villages agree to the conditions of the land of whirlpools, you're Iwa ninjas, hairhead. What about the other option? Among the elders of the Uzumaki clan, the leader of the Uzumaki ninja said. Only if you agree to the conditions of the land of whirlpools will the other option be offered to you with both hands. Hearing the Uzumaki ninja's conditions, the Iwa ninjas frowned and exchanged glances, seemingly exchanging information. Finally. Wait a moment, I'll go ask that Tsuchikage-sama, the leader of the Iwa ninja said, then turned and winked at his teammates. Keep an eye on them. 2 days later, early morning. Uzumaki soon got up and stretched. Today was the day to negotiate with Kirigakure. The elders, the clan head, and even his father, the daimyo of the land of whirlpools, would be there. As for the conditions, last night they all said they wouldn't participate and that I should propose them. Even my father nodded with satisfaction, saying he'd leave everything to me, and then he pulled my mother aside to discuss it, seemingly wanting to have a younger brother or sister. But, Chapter 53 There are many gods in the ninja world. But, this open-air tent, in a cave, surrounded by people, made it impossible for him to even get a good night's sleep, let alone exercise. The mosquitoes were horribly numerous at night, and he finally had to have the Grand Elder set up a ceiling barrier for him before he could fall asleep. The Grand Elder's face was practically green with rage. When had the Uzumaki clan ever made something like this with their sealing techniques? It was utterly beneath them. They were an ancient clan with a history spanning thousands of years. A barrage of accusations about family honor and the glory of the Uzumaki clan rained down on Uzumaki soon. Finally, he had to insist that only by making changes could the Uzumaki clan become strong, at which point the Grand Elder, with a sour face, said, "Don't try to fool this old man. Although I'm illiterate, I'm still awkwardly imprinting a seal on myself." But Uzumaki soon felt he was right. He could modify this barrier like mosquito-proof tent, making it smaller and lighter, reusable with just chakra input, and sell it to others to make money, right? If we had money, wouldn't the Uzumaki clan become powerful? Indeed, ninjas are just the lowest level of chakra use. Only when used for production and daily life can chakra truly benefit the ninja world. Awake? Early in the morning, he saw his father and the clan elders gathered together, seemingly discussing something. The clan head seemed to nod with satisfaction, as if he had agreed to something with the daimyo, but the eldest elder was shaking his head, seemingly disagreeing. What were these people doing? Uzumaki soon walked over with a puzzled look, but the Uzumaki clan's higher-ranking members immediately fell silent. Clan head, elders, greetings. Although puzzled, Uzumaki soon still greeted them with a good morning. Negotiations were more important now. As for the rest, they could deal with it later. Shall we depart now? The eldest elder asked. The mist ninjas seemed to have arrived at the negotiation site. It's still early. Uzumaki soon stretched and said, it's not too late to go after breakfast. So you came to invade the land of whirlpools. Hell, letting you go hungry for a meal shouldn't be a big deal. You're ninjas from the 5 great ninja villages. A few military rations will do, you won't starve. Besides, news from the ninjas who went out on missions hasn't come back yet. I wonder how they are doing. As for Iwagakure, Uzumaki-jun said he needs to get the super light heavy rock technique. It's a pretty good ninjutsu, and he also wants their help to get the army close to Karigakure's defenses to coerce them. This way, Uzumaki can gain more benefits in this negotiation. After all, the tailed beasts aren't something you can just hand over to anyone. I just don't know if they can complete the mission. If not, at least they should get Iwagakure to agree to send troops. As for the super light heavy rock technique, they'll have to exchange it with the system later. The clan head and elders exchanged glances. Would this work? Would Karigakure be furious? Although they're not afraid of the Mizukage or the tailed beasts now, they'd still be happy to avoid war. Sigh. The elder sighed softly, saying, let's listen to soon. Using their brains is completely unsuitable for the Uzumaki clan, they only know how to fight head-on. As for Uzumaki soon, he's different. A 7-year-old who can fight a tailed beast, can they be compared? Due to the succession of the national leader, the current daimyo has temporarily assumed the position of elder. And over at the Mist Ninja. Why is the land of whirlpool so slow? Hazuki Jinjutsu frowned, gazing at the sky. It was almost noon, and no one had come to negotiate. Did they not know the time? The Mizukage's assistant frowned, watching the Uzumaki ninja slowly surrounding them. What were they planning to do? He waved to a Jonin beside him, saying, go and ask when their negotiators will arrive. Seriously, doesn't the Uzumaki clan have any sense of time? The Mist Ninja nodded, saying, yes, and ran towards a nearby Uzumaki Jonin. Then, the Mist Ninja ran back with a strange expression. Seeing this, the Mizukage and his assistant knew something was wrong. Hazuki Jinjutsu frowned and asked, what did they say? They said their lord soon is having breakfast. The Mist Ninja hesitated for a moment before finally speaking, and what? Hazuki Jinjutsu's face turned ashen. He hadn't eaten breakfast? Did they even have breakfast? It was almost lunchtime. They said we didn't schedule a time, so being late is fine. The Mist Ninja fell silent upon hearing this. Damn it, shouldn't negotiations be expedited? You saw us arrive at the negotiation location, yet you still haven't shown up, and this is our fault. You brats, this is outrageous. Hazuki Jinjutsu roared. All the Mist Ninja were furious, whispering amongst themselves. They were one of the 5 great ninja villages. When had they ever been treated like this? The Uzumaki ninja were simply too much? Calm down. The Mizukage's assistant, seeing the tense atmosphere, immediately shouted, "What are you all doing? Do you want to start a war with the land of whirlpools again? Damn it, it's you again when we don't fight, and now it's you again when we do? What are you trying to do?" Kirigakure still has some dignity. Besides, where are the Uzumaki ninja hiding right now? And how can we possibly defeat a 7-year-old cage-level ninja who knows space-time ninjutsu? He can easily take you all down in one go with a little time. The Mizukage's words calmed everyone down, though their displeasure remained. What should we do now? Hazuki Jinjutsu asked the Mizukage's assistant, frowning. Have you made all the arrangements I asked you to make? Kirigakure absolutely cannot let the land of whirlpools make such exorbitant demands. Even if Hazuki Jinjutsu were to fight head-on, stabbing them directly with kunai, he couldn't single-handedly take on all of them and let Kirigakure go bankrupt. The Mizukage's assistant nodded. The conditions were laid out, but it was uncertain whether the land of whirlpools would agree. After all, they were the invaders, and the defeated ones. What about Konoha? Hazuki Jinjutsu asked, his eyes narrowed dangerously. We've also sent people there to inquire, the Mizukage's assistant said. You Konoha are using dirty tricks behind our backs. If we don't make you pay compensation this time, Kirigakure won't be one of the 5 great shinobi villages. You keep saying you're inheriting Hashirame's ideals, but how foolish, cough cough, how generous the god of shinobi is. How could you be so heartless? Pay up, you absolutely have to pay up. In that case, Hazuki Jinjutsu closed his eyes, tapped the table with both hands, and said calmly, send someone down to tell the Uzumaki ninja that if they want peace, they should come quickly, if not, how? Konoha will deal with them themselves. Yes, Chapter 2, please give it some recommendations. Chapter 54 Even Konoha has some sense of shame. Listening to the reports from the Jonin below about the situation in Kirigakure, especially Hazuki Jinjutsu's threatening words, Uzumaki-jun curled his lip in disdain. At his age, still thinking of tattling? Does he really think Konoha is his boss? Even if Konoha paid him any attention, they'd at most send someone to reason with him, appealing to his emotions and logic, and in the name of peace in the ninja world, to get the land of whirlpools to return the 3 tails to Kirigakure without taking a single penny. As for anything else? What? Attack the land of whirlpools? Don't be ridiculous. Even if Mito Uzumaki weren't alive, Konoha still has its pride. Aside from the generational friendship with Hashirama, during the Ninja War, the Uzumaki clan fought valiantly for Konoha, losing so many people. Konoha wouldn't dare to act rashly. They just use underhanded tactics. Otherwise, how could they be the big brother of the 5 great shinobi villages? When the 5 ninja meeting comes around, the other ninja villages will just say, look at Konoha. They're working so hard for them, but they stab us in the back. It's dangerous to be allies with them. Would that ruin Konoha? Konoha has always called itself a peacemaker, a member of the League of Justice dedicated to upholding Hashirama's ideals. How could they possibly do something harmful to the village's reputation? If this were exposed, even Danzo, the dark side of Konoha, couldn't bear the consequences. So, it's just a backhanded move. Would someone who knows the Flying Thunder God technique be afraid? Who knows who will kill whom? So if Kirigakure reports this, Hirozen Sarutobi will only strongly condemn it and demand the return of the tailed beasts from the land of whirlpools. He won't take any other action. But will the land of whirlpools care about these condemnations? Damn it, they won the war themselves, and Konoha wants to reap the benefits? They should ask the 300,000 citizens and ninjas of the land of whirlpools if they agree first. So even if Hirozen Sarutobi cursed the Uzumaki clan to extinction in his heart, he would still wear a cheerful smile, shaking hands with the land of whirlpools as if they were on a long-standing friendship, praising the Uzumaki clan for producing a young hero. As for the appearance of Konoha ninjas on the battlefield, or that Konoha had sent ninjas to support them, Uzumaki-jun would just happily wipe away a tear and say, so touching, Konoha and the land of whirlpools have a long-standing friendship. And the rest? Hell, who cares about you all? So Uzumaki-jun slurped up a mouthful of his special ramen, waved to the Uzumaki ninjas, and said, don't worry about them, just tell them we'll go after we finish eating. And it has to be said, it had been so many years since he'd eaten Uzumaki ramen, and Uzumaki-jun was genuinely moved. It was just that the beef had been sitting for too long and wasn't very fresh. It seemed that to improve the physique of the people of the land of whirlpools, meat was essential. He'd see if aquaculture could take off. If not, they'd have to go out to sea to fish. How could a small island like that not eat fish? System. Uzumaki soon slurped. Do you have all the cooking tutorials from my past life? Yes, as long as you have reputation, this system can exchange for anything. What about devil fruits? Cannot be exchanged. What use are you? Uzumaki soon said disdainfully. Damn, didn't you already know that? Why ask? What good does belittling this system do you? Uzumaki soon ignored the system's internal monologue, instead frowning and slurping his noodles, wondering how this ramen compared to Chiraku ramen? And if he had the food from his past life? Maybe the land of whirlpools could even become a food capital or something. That would be so profitable. Burp. Uzumaki soon let out a satisfied burp, put down his bowl, and looked at the elders and his parents, all eating with great expressions. It seemed this ramen was quite suitable for the ninja world. Food. It's got potential. Seeing that everyone had finished eating, and since there was only a small amount of beef, it had mostly been eaten by the elders of the Uzumaki clan. The lower-ranking members didn't get any, except for Koki and Kai, who each got a bowl. Seeing their disappointed expressions, Uzumaki-jun could only cough twice and say, "Let's go. Time to go and argue with Kirigakure." Immediately. Yes, the Uzumaki clan ninjas shouted in response. Hazuki Jinjutsu felt that his self-control over the past few years had been almost completely destroyed by that 7-year-old blonde-haired boy. He lamented inwardly, how unfair fate was. Such a powerful figure appeared in this brat, why didn't he appear in their Hazuki clan? Cough cough Kirigakure? This is war. War. Don't you understand? They even said they'd come back after eating? Did Kirigakure have no shame? To utterly disregard the dignity of the 5 great shinobi villages? Did the land of whirlpools become arrogant after winning this war? Did they think Kirigakure was too weak to fight anymore? How, looks like you don't know where you stand. Being the god of shinobi isn't easy. Hazuki Jinjutsu narrowed his eyes, a dangerous expression on his face, seemingly deep in thought. Should we send the Uzumaki ninja to inform them again? The Mizukage's assistant said, frowning. No wonder they're from a small country, one victory and they've lost their heads. They actually look down on Kirigakure? No need. Hazuki Jinjutsu shook his head, saying expressionlessly, since they want Kirigakure, one of the 5 great shinobi villages, to wait, then we'll just wait and see. Let's see what that kid's got up to. You know, making Kirigakure wait here isn't an easy thing. Soon, the elder frowned, aren't we going to make any other preparations? No need. Uzumaki soon rolled his eyes. It seems the Uzumaki clan, having rarely won battles, has forgotten how to negotiate. It's all because they've been Konoha's henchmen for the past few years, and damn it. Konoha doesn't even pay them. They're practically a heartless corporation. The land of the Uzumaki does the killing, Konoha takes the money, the land of the Uzumaki takes the blame, and Konoha does the favors. This has been Konoha's policy in recent years. No matter what, they're pushing the land of whirlpools to take the fall. Damn it, it's only because the Uzumaki clan firmly believes in their generations-long friendship and will never betray them. If it were Uzumaki-jun, he would have spat in the Hokage's face long ago. But, there's no rush. Uzumaki-jun glanced at the Senju clan members beside him, who were frowning. This blame was firmly on the Uzumaki clan leader. Since it's supposed to be a generations-long friendship, then Konoha should be able to take the blame for them, right? Generations-long friendship. Uzumaki-jun smiled and shook his head. Lord Hideaki, a Senju clan member said worriedly. Is it really okay for us to be here? No matter what, they were Konoha ninjas, suddenly appearing in someone else's negotiation arena. The implication was clear. Even if they said the Senju clan was here on the Hokage's orders, Kirigakure wouldn't believe them. Senju Hideaki sighed. He understood perfectly well, but this was the land of whirlpools' pledge of allegiance. Moreover, they had already been seen on the battlefield, and now it was too late for them to deny it. They could only helplessly say, I will go and apologize to the Hokage myself then. Now, obey the orders of the Uzumaki clan. 4. The future of the Senju clan. The representative of the land of whirlpools has arrived. Chapter 3. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55. The Uzumaki clan representatives finally arrived. Normally, according to negotiation protocol, both sides would stand up to greet each other and shake hands, since both sides arrived around the same time. But now, Hazuki Genjutsu and the Kirigakure ninja sat there with sour faces, ignoring Uzumaki-jun and the others, simply squinting at the group of Uzumaki clan representatives before them. They couldn't help but sigh. How could Kirigakure lose to such a group of old, young, and disabled people? Indeed, most of these people were elderly. Although their spirits and complexions were good, their gray hair still showed their advanced age. No wonder the Uzumaki clan is famous for its longevity. At such an old age, they could still jump around like young people. Aren't they afraid of hurting their backs? As for the child, a 7-year-old cage-level ninja. Hazuki Genjutsu looked at the 7-year-old child walking at the front, never expecting this. He had never imagined that a true powerhouse from the land of whirlpools would be so young. Why couldn't Kirigakure produce any true geniuses? It seems this child has already taken control of the land of whirlpools due to his strength. But he's so young. The land of whirlpools is still in a state of panic because of Kirigakure's invasion. Otherwise, why would they allow such a young child to succeed them? He could be the next daimyo of the land of whirlpools, or even the next Uzumaki cage. Uzumaki village doesn't seem to have a Uzumaki cage right now, but when a cage-level shinobi appears, Uzumaki village will have a true Uzumaki cage. But this child is far too young to wield such power at such a young age. The Uzumaki clan truly is a family that's lost its mind. Hazuki Genjutsu narrowed his eyes, staring at Uzumaki-jun, a dangerous aura emanating from them. If he were to act now, he absolutely couldn't let him grow up. Uzumaki-jun ignored Hazuki Genjutsu's gaze, sitting down in a chair with an impatient expression. He had already made it clear beforehand that he was just a 7-year-old child, and everything else was up to the clan head to negotiate. It was just selling a tail beast, after all. He had already written down the price, which would be the same as the price Tobirama had proposed years ago. He figured if it exceeded that price, they probably wouldn't want to pay, since the tailed beast belonged to them. To expect them to pay more to get it back would make Kirigakure think the land of whirlpools had gone mad. Kirigakure couldn't afford to lose face like that, and then they would really have to resolve it by force. Although Uzumaki-jun wasn't afraid, the dark figure behind him made him very uneasy. Not to mention Madara, Zetsu, and even Konoha, that old schemer, was now a force to be reckoned with. Once Konoha felt that the land of whirlpools had embarrassed them this time, and that the Uzumaki clan could no longer be their loyal, ally, Konoha would definitely take action. Don't be skeptical. Didn't Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo do this kind of thing enough? One played the good cop, the other the bad cop, making everyone else cry and cling to Hiruzen's leg, acting like they were contributing to Konoha's development. As for those who didn't do it, they were all killed. A village chief who dares to turn on his own people, don't think he's generous. So, Uzumaki-jun never intended to capture the tailed beasts. He wasn't strong enough. Selling them and buying food and supplies for winter was more realistic. As for other things, they could wait until the land of whirlpools became the 6th largest country, or even surpassed the 5 largest. Don't be fooled by the fact that ninjas seem to have meat and food every day and dress smartly. Life in the ninja world isn't easy. Ninjas are all made through hard work and money, while ordinary people suffer from disaster. During wartime, they basically only have porridge to drink, the kind where a large bowl of water has a few grains of rice on top. So life on the ground is extremely miserable. Most people are basically starving and cold, and they are always worried about being beheaded by ninjas the next day. The land of whirlpools currently has very few resources and food. If they are not prepared, this winter is unimaginable. Although the land of whirlpools is better off than other war-torn areas outside, a lot of people still starve to death every year, especially now that winter is here. The first winter after a war is the most terrible. Uzumaki soon looked at Hazuki Genjutsu. Sure enough, just like in the anime, he had no eyebrows and black eyes. As for his sour face, Uzumaki soon simply ignored it. He was having a nice breakfast at home. Standing someone up and making them wait, how could that not make someone angry? Sigh. Someone like that must be single. Uzumaki soon simply found a seat and sat down, ignoring Hazuki Genjutsu's envious and jealous hateful eyes. He still couldn't understand why this old man was looking at him, a young boy, with such envy. Was this Mizuki some kind of pervert? The clan leader smiled at the eyebrowless man before him and said, "Mizuki, I'm truly sorry, His Highness Jun is a little slow eating breakfast and is late." Hazuki Jinjetsu's face turned green upon hearing the clan leader's words. What did he mean by a little slow eating breakfast, and who was His Highness Jun? Did they think Kurigakure couldn't see that this was intentional? He narrowed his eyes at him, his tone dangerous, and asked, "Who are you?" "The clan leader of the Uzumaki clan." The clan leader's aura was equally strong as he smiled. As the clan leader, he knew that in negotiations, one's aura could never be weak. Once one took a step back, it would be a step back forever. "So, this time, you're in charge?" Hazuki Jinjetsu said. "A mere clan leader?" There were over a dozen in Kurigakure. If it weren't for their victory, he wouldn't have given them a second glance, but now. "The Hidden Mist Village's conditions are all here, take a look." He directly had Mizuki assist him in handing over the compensation treaty drafted yesterday to the clan head, then turned back to stare at Uzumaki-jun. A 7-year-old cage-level ninja. The Hidden Mist Village didn't have time to haggle with the Land of Whirlpools. They had to seize the initiative, and then, settle accounts with Konoha. The Uzumaki clan head was somewhat bewildered by Hazuki Jinjetsu's tactics. What did this mean? Wasn't it their Land of Whirlpools that had won? Shouldn't they be the ones setting the conditions? And these conditions, what was the meaning behind the Hidden Mist Village's victorious stance? Seeing this, Uzumaki-jun narrowed his eyes. It seemed they intended to use the prestige of the 5 great shinobi villages to intimidate him. Otherwise, these conditions were simply too outrageous. What? Kurigakure would absolutely not invade Uzumaki for 5 years? What? Uzumaki would be allowed to trade with the Land of Water, but Uzumaki had to protect the Land of Water's ninjas? Even more absurdly, they demanded that Uzumaki return the 3 tails and compensate for the fleet's losses. Uzumaki-jun couldn't bear to read any further. He laughed in anger. Had Hazuki Jinjetsu gone mad? How could Uzumaki possibly agree to such conditions? He couldn't help but think, Uzumaki is still too weak. Even if they win, they'll still be looked down upon. After a day of traveling, here's the update. Chapter 1. Chapter 56, What is the value of a tail beast? Impossible, the clan leader shouted, his eyes wide as he stared at Hazuki Jinjetsu. Even if you're a cage-level shinobi, you can't bully people like this. You must know that the Land of Whirlpools is the victor, as for Kurigakure, just the defeated side. Head. Hearing the Land of Whirlpool's mockery, the Kurigakure ninja were instantly enraged. They had been defeated, but they were still one of the 5 great shinobi villages. How could the Uzumaki clan be so disrespectful? Did they think the Land of Whirlpools was stronger than Kurigakure? Or did they think Kurigakure was too weak to fight? But, the Uzumaki ninja were even angrier. Wasn't this just bullying? Just as they were about to roll up their sleeves and fight, "Stop!" Uzumaki-jun shouted, turning to stare at them expressionlessly. "Have you forgotten your mission?" Mission? All the Uzumaki ninja were completely bewildered, then suddenly realized, oh right. Weren't they here to cheer? Thinking this, as if understanding something, he immediately formed hand seals and shouted, "Multiple shadow clone technique. Multiple shadow clone technique. Multi." The Mist Ninja were completely bewildered by the Uzumaki ninja's barrage of words. What were they trying to do? Did they want to start a war? Especially Hazuki Jinjetsu, who frowned as he watched this scene. He had no idea what the Uzumaki ninja were up to. This was post-war negotiations. They couldn't act rashly now, or they would break the rules. The last time the Gold and Silver brothers attacked during negotiations, the outcome was extremely tragic. If the Land of Whirlpools attacked, the consequences. It was obvious that this would break the rules of the ninja world. Then not only would a Mist Ninja attack, but even Konoha might, because Konoha's second Hokage died because someone broke the rules. However, Su knew all of this, yet he didn't actually make a move. He merely wanted support from his clansmen, and all he had to do was cheer them on from the sidelines. Did you see how effective it was? The multiple shadow clone technique is truly impressive. Hearing the clansmen's support, the clan leader regained his composure and looked at Jinjetsu Hazuki, saying, "The Land of Whirlpools cannot agree to these conditions. And remember, the Land of Whirlpools is the victor. It's not your place to set conditions." Jinjetsu Hazuki, Hearing the clan leader's words, rested his chin on his hands, staring directly at the clan leader. But seeing no fear in his eyes, he sighed inwardly. It seemed he couldn't scare them anymore. He could only say expressionlessly, "Aren't you afraid of war? You should know that next time it won't just be Kurigakure." He didn't elaborate, that was enough. If that's the case, then let's go to war. The land of whirlpools fears no war. The clan leader stared at Ninjutsu Uzuki, speaking each word clearly. The land of whirlpools fears no war. Suddenly, all the whirlpool ninjas shouted loudly, their momentum, even Uzumaki-jun was afraid. Didn't you see the entire mountain shaking from their shouts? This sheer number, truly a skill exclusive to the Uzumaki clan. Max fit. Seeing this, the mist ninja were a little scared, afraid the Uzumaki clan might get carried away and start a fight. It was terrifying. They were definitely capable of doing something like this. They were just a bunch of fools. State your conditions, the Mizukage's assistant sighed, saying helplessly. He knew this would happen, a defeated nation. The Hidden Mist Village was now a defeated nation. Not only had it lost on the battlefield against the Land of Whirlpools, but on the battlefield of the ninja world. He didn't know how long it would take for the Hidden Mist Village to recover after the war, or whether it could catch up with Konoha. Now, let's see what the Uzumaki clan's conditions are first. These are the conditions from the Land of Whirlpools. The clan chief handed over the conditions they had written down. There weren't many, just one. Hazuki Jinjutsu and the Mizukage glanced at it, their faces turning ashen as they stared at the clan chief. This is too much? They knew the price all too well. However, Uzumaki-jun ignored them, continuing to look around. This invasion of the Land of Whirlpools and Kurigakure had been a huge investment, even sending 3 of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. But they hadn't expected it turned up being such a huge loss. They sent you to invade the Land of Whirlpools. If he hadn't transmigrated and taken control of the Uzumaki clan's minds, the Land of Whirlpools would probably be destroyed by now, and the Uzumaki clan would have been wiped out. As for whether Kurigakure would agree to this condition, Uzumaki-jun wasn't worried at all. The condition wasn't harsh, it was just a matter of spending money to buy back the tailed beasts. The 5 great shinobi villages were rich enough to afford it. They imported 2 tailed beasts back then. Besides the Kazakage, that shameless pauper, and the Hokage, that overpowered guy, all the other shinobi villages imported 2 tailed beasts. As for the first Kazakage, that pauper and shameless guy, he actually demanded that Konoha cede fertile land to Sunagakure and received 30% of the funds from other countries purchasing tailed beasts to support Sunagakure's development. When Hashirama was selling the tailed beasts, only Hashirama had a good temper. If it were Uzumaki-jun, he would have simply said, take it or leave it. Being poor and having an excuse? He would have been dealt with long ago, instead of patiently mediating. While Kurigakure suffered a huge loss, they could still afford the money. It's just that the Hazuki clan will probably have to tighten their belts from now on. After all, the village chief is from their clan, so Hazuki Jinjutsu has to take the blame. As for who will reimburse them in the end, Uzumaki-jun glanced towards Konoha, inwardly sighing. Being a messenger of justice isn't easy. Especially a messenger of justice with a black heart. We can't agree to this condition, the Mizukage's assistant said helplessly, looking at the clan chief. The tailed beasts originally belonged to Kurigakure, we have no reason. However, before the man could finish, the 3 tails is in our hands, the clan chief said calmly. Damn it, you have the nerve to say it originally belonged to Kurigakure? So invading the Land of Whirlpools is your right? But the 3 tails is in our hands. But the 3 tails is currently in our hands. Listening to their wrangling, Uzumaki-jun yawned boredly. They were going to agree anyway, why all the fuss? Do they think they can be as shameless as the first Kazakage? Don't be ridiculous. Do they think the Land of Whirlpools is that stupid, kind-hearted Hashirama? The Hidden Mist Village won't agree to this condition, Hazuki Jinjutsu interrupted the two's argument. Speaking impatiently. The Hidden Mist Village can only pay 1/3 of the silver. Anything more than that, the Hidden Mist Village won't agree to. The Hidden Mist Village had to have its bottom line. After all, they were one of the 5 great shinobi villages, they couldn't afford to spend the same amount on a tailed beast again. And this is already a third-hand item, shouldn't the price be lowered? Since that's the case, has the clan leader made a decision? Uzumaki soon asked impatiently, his large, bright eyes wide. Soon is hungry. Why don't we not sell the three tails? Keep it as a pet for soon? Huh. 1/3 of the price? Was the hidden mist village dreaming? That wasn't even enough to buy the explosive tags. Anyway, in a few more days, the hidden mist village would probably be begging the land of whirlpools to agree. Hozuki Genjutsu should really think about how to salvage the Mizukage's reputation. Chapter 2. Chapter 57. Upon hearing Uzumaki-san's words, the scene fell silent. What? As a pet? You know, this is a tailed beast. To be able to use it as. Damn, it's actually possible. You know, this kid was a 7-year-old who defeated a tailed beast. And he only used one ninjutsu. Who knows, maybe in a few years he really will be able to keep a tailed beast as a pet. Just like the sidekick of the god of shinobi back then, the two of them just kicked the tailed beast around like a ball. Did the tailed beast dare to roar? It would probably just meow, and then obediently curl up a little to make itself look more like a ball so it wouldn't hurt its feet. Can't afford to mess with him. Hozuki Genjutsu narrowed his eyes and said threateningly, "Little kid, you know that's a tailed beast. Don't be so sure of yourself. Even if you can defeat a tailed beast, you can't subdue it. Keep it as a pet? You'd be lucky if it didn't spit tailed beast balls in your face." Uzumaki-san rolled his eyes when he heard Hozuki Genjutsu's words. Did he really think he was a child? And you Kurigakure ninja were forced to surrender by this kid, haha. You think you can scare us? Did you think you watched all 700 plus episodes of Naruto for nothing? Uzumaki-jun feigned shock, his eyes widening, and said, "That's a tailed beast. But it's so weak. Haha, I just used one ninjutsu to seal it away, why would I be afraid of it? Although, it can only be released once, it's still someone who defeated a tailed beast." Hozuki Genjutsu was speechless at Uzumaki-jun's words. This was truly a despicable brat, but now Hozuki Genjutsu's desire to kill Uzumaki-jun was even stronger. This kid was only 7 years old. Who knows, maybe in a few years he could really keep a tailed beast as a pet. That would be too dangerous for Kurigakure. And, if the Uzumaki clan had to keep tailed beasts, he'd definitely become a Jinchuriki. By then, not only will there be 7-year-old cage-level warriors, but also Jinchuriki, making it even more difficult to take over the land of whirlpools. Therefore, we absolutely cannot let the land of whirlpools obtain the tailed beasts. But he couldn't show that expression now. Negotiations require bargaining, he had to save every penny he could, otherwise the Hozuki clan would really have to tighten their belts. Damn Konoha. No matter what, our hidden mist village cannot agree to this condition, Hozuki Genjutsu said solemnly, making it clear that either war or a price reduction was necessary, otherwise the hidden mist village would absolutely not compromise. Uzumaki-jun, seeing this, immediately laughed. War? Let's see in a few days whether your hidden mist village can still fight. Uzumaki-jun had already informed the clan head that if Kurigakure didn't agree no matter what they said, he should just leave. So, since that's the case, the clan head said, narrowing his eyes, the three tails will remain as a pet for Prince Jun. Then we'll take our leave. Seeing this, the Kurigakure ninja were stunned, especially Hozuki Genjutsu. Seriously, they actually negotiated like this. Could they really haggle over a price that wasn't right? The Uzumaki clan was truly a bunch of fools. Did they really have enough money to buy so many more explosive tags? But, watching the departing Uzumaki clan, Hozuki Genjutsu's face darkened, inwardly screaming, they're serious. Did they even try to negotiate? Who would do business with them like this? Jun. Do you think they'll really agree? The daimyo looked at Uzumaki-jun with worry. Buying someone else's things again at a higher price, the Uzumaki clan had never done that before. The Uzumaki clan inherited Lord Hashirame's ideals. Such shamelessness. Just thinking about it is exciting. Uzumaki-san rolled his eyes at his father. Sure enough, you shouldn't let the Uzumaki clan handle business, otherwise, they'll either lower the price or start a fight. There's absolutely no third option, it'll definitely be a huge loss. Of course, Uzumaki-san said irritably, Kurigakure will probably agree in a few days. He just wondered how well they were carrying out a mission to deliver the sealing techniques. He had already told those going to the land of Earth that the super light heavy rock technique was just a bonus, whether they got it or not was irrelevant. But they absolutely had to get that Suchikage to send troops to pressure the land of water. The war wasn't over yet, the Kurigakure ninja probably hadn't withdrawn from the battlefield in the land of Earth. As long as they complete the mission, Kirigakure will definitely agree, Uzumaki soon said calmly. However, before long, Kirigakure had already received news from the front lines. The Iwa ninja are pressing in. A Kirigakure Junin, panting, shouted anxiously to the Kirigakure leadership that Tsuchikage is leading the Iwa ninja towards Kirigakure's stronghold. The Kirigakure leadership exchanged bewildered glances. What was going on? Wasn't the war supposed to be over? Hadn't Kirigakure been defeated? What was that Tsuchikage's intention in pressing him now? Was it because the war wasn't over enough? Did they want to turn too quickly and wanted to prolong it? And, wasn't it agreed that no one would attack when Kirigakure obtained the sealing techniques? Everything was agreed upon, so why was Iwa reneging on their promise? Damn Iwa! Kensei roared, his face ashen. They actually broke their promise. They had clearly agreed to obtain the sealing techniques together, to create Jinchuriki together, and to ensure Konoha wouldn't get the upper hand. What were they thinking now? Did they abandon the sealing techniques? Did they abandon the Jinchuriki? Or, had news of the Kirigakure's defeat in the land of whirlpools spread? All the high-ranking members of Kirigakure seemed to have realized something, their expressions shifting between anger and uncertainty. Had the Mizukage truly failed? Have the ships sent to use the Shiagakure set sail yet? Kenji asked, frowning. They didn't even know the situation in Uzumaki, but it certainly didn't look good. Otherwise, why would Iwagakure have made a move? They saw that Kirigakure's military was weak and wanted to take advantage. Even Kenji was inwardly blaming Hazuki Jinjutsu. What a terrible idea he'd come up with. They could have let other ninja villages occupy Uzumaki, and then Kirigakure would get a share, but instead, he thought of having Kirigakure start a war? Now they hadn't gained anything and had even lost a fortune. Kenji sighed, closed his eyes, and said helplessly, send the fleet to deliver the message to the Mizukage. Speed up. Don't stop for a moment. Kirigakure can't afford to wait. Hearing Kenji's order, the Kirigakure high-ranking members all sighed. They knew that Kirigakure's invasion of Uzumaki had failed. After the meeting, each clan left with their members, each with their own thoughts. But the Mizuki clan head, Lady Joy. Suddenly, a Mizuki ninja appeared. What is it? Joy's narrowed eyebrows furrowed immediately. Why are you in such a panic? What does Mizuki represent? It represents the Ice Shield bloodline limit. Therefore, one must always remain calm and elegant. What is this flustered expression on their face? The Mizuki ninja glanced around, making sure no one was watching them, and carefully whispered in Lady Joy's ear, we've discovered Uzumaki ninja, and Konoha. Hokage-sama, that Tsuchikage has suddenly launched a war against the Kirigakure ninja, and the reason is currently unknown. Chapter 3. Chapter 58. They even forgot to turn off the crystal ball. Hiruzen Sarutobi shuddered at the sudden intrusion of the Junin, especially upon hearing his report. His pipe fell to the table, and he even forgot to turn off his binoculars. So, ahem. The Junin averted his gaze, pretending not to see, and continued, news from Iwagakure, that Tsuchikage is leading a large force into Kirigakure's territory. Holy crap, they saw their leader's secret. What if he suddenly had an accident and sacrificed himself for the village? Although the Junin remained expressionless, he was panicking. He'd heard from his seniors that many of his Anbu predecessors had mysteriously disappeared, and they all shared one characteristic, storming the Hokage building. Could they have all seen the Hokage's secret? No, the Hokage would never do such a thing. He was just inspecting Konoha's security. The Hokage is righteous, he is the light. Hiruzen Sarutobi nodded expressionlessly, casually shutting off the crystal ball. Then, he picked up the pipe that had fallen onto the table and said seriously, do you know the reason now? Seeing that the Hokage didn't blame him, the Anbu Jonin breathed a sigh of relief and said earnestly, we don't know yet. The Anbu is investigating the reason with all its might. Hearing the Anbu's words, Hiruzen Sarutobi frowned, took a puff of his pipe, and said, investigate the reason with all your might. We can't afford any accidents at this time. Also, have Danzo run over to the Hokage building for a meeting. He waved for him to leave. Yes. The Anbu Jonin replied and respectfully retreated. Seeing the office door close, Hiruzen Sarutobi also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was only Anbu who saw it. The Anbu is the Hokage's direct subordinate force. They keep their mouths shut. If other big mouths had seen it, how could he remain Hokage? the news of the Hokage spying would probably have spread throughout the entire village by the next day. He even got caught peeping into the women's bathhouse. Danzo might have been secretly enjoying watching the Hokage building being vandalized. The Hokage has his pride too. What exactly is that Hokage up to? Hiruzen Sarutobi muttered, frowning. The war is almost over. What's Mew doing? He's completely bandaged, a level 10 cripple. Why is he still causing trouble? Is it because he didn't have his limbs amputated? Or... Suddenly, Hiruzen Sarutobi seemed to realize something. Something happened in Kirigakure? A defeat on the battlefield in Uzumaki. So that Hokage plans to take advantage of the situation? Otherwise, why would these 4 ninja villages start fighting before the cake is even baked, after they've already planned how to divide it? Hiruzen Sarutobi already knew about the plans of these 4 ninja villages. It's just that they don't have a Uzumaki Clan member or sealing techniques, so they haven't had a Jinchuuriki. That's why Hiruzen Sarutobi didn't stop them. Peace, peace. How can we talk about peace if our strengths are unequal? This is a principle left behind by Lord Hashirama. But sealing techniques, you can take them, but not the Uzumaki Clan. The Uzumaki Clan is an ally of Konoha, so they won't watch the Uzumaki Clan be wiped out, even if only one person remains. Moreover, the wealth of the Land of Whirlpools belongs to the Uzumaki Clan. No one else has the right or ability to acquire it, including Konoha. Anbu. Hiruzen Sarutobi took a drag of his cigarette and shouted loudly. Hokage-sama. A masked man immediately entered. Ask the commander of the Land of Whirlpools battlefield, what's the situation there? Yes. Because the war was at a stalemate, the ninjas of the Land of Whirlpools did nothing but continue monitoring the movements of Kirigakure. Uzumaki-jun, however, was even more bored. As the heir to the Land of Whirlpools and its current commander, this small matter isn't something he needs to handle. Besides, in a few days, when news arrives that the Land of Earth is pressing its borders on the Land of Water, Hozuki Jinjutsu will probably be frantic. After all, the situation in the Land of Whirlpools isn't a big deal. They can simply unite with other ninja villages. But the situation in the Land of Earth is a different story. Once that bandaged man breaks through Kirigakure's defenses throughout the Land of Earth, it won't be something he can handle simply by not becoming Mizukage. The daimyo of the Land of Water will likely force him to commit seppuku. Therefore, Hozuki Jinjutsu will definitely agree to the Land of Whirlpools conditions immediately and rush to the battlefield in the Land of Earth. As for how to get there without a boat, that's not something Uzumaki-jun needs to worry about. Moreover, since the area is near the Land of Fire, Hozuki Jinjutsu will probably have to ask the Hokage for passage. But the fact that Konoha tricked Kirigakure isn't something a child like him can handle. He's still just a child. He knew nothing, and was even deeply grateful to Konoha for their support. War is so cruel. Uzumaki-sun sighed. Sun-kun. The clan chief walked over, looked at Uzumaki-sun, and asked, what should we do with the people in the cave now? Hearing the clan chief's words, Uzumaki-sun pondered for a moment and said, it's not the right time yet. There's nowhere to put them now, and if something unexpected happens, it might be too late to retreat. So wait a few more days, just a few days, and Kirigakure will come looking for us. I see. Hearing Uzumaki-sun's words, the clan chief nodded and smiled. Uncle is just worried about that girl Kushina. It's been so long since we've seen her, I bet she's getting impatient. Hearing Kushina, Uzumaki-sun also smiled. He had changed the fate of the Land of Whirlpools, changed Kushina's fate. As for what to do with Minato? What about Naruto? That wasn't his concern. Anyway, Naruto's if everyone gives a little love, the world will become a better place theory has long been proven ineffective, so let's not waste time. As for who will take on Kaguya? Uzumaki-jun isn't worried. Leaving aside the powerful figures hidden in the shadows, even considering himself a transmigrator, he'd probably be able to manipulate Kaguya into 18 different forms within a few years, becoming the father of the 6 paths. And, sealing the aliens again? That method won't work. Only by confronting them head-on, by achieving equality in strength and status, can we talk about anything else. Otherwise, who knows how powerful the Otsutsuki clan is. There's an Otsutsuki traitor who doesn't even try to build a good relationship with them. Ask about the Otsutsuki clan, but instead thinks about sealing them up. It's such a waste. Of course, all of this is based on the premise of equal strength. For now, let's not think about that. There's a group of impure-blooded Otsutsuki lunatics on the moon. Who knows, the transmigrator effect might make them even more eager to destroy Earth. So, the direct descendants of the Otsutsuki are all lunatics. That's terrifying. I promised to update 5 times today, so, someone, bring up one of my roommates to be sacrificed to the heavens, the salted fish roared arrogantly. Shall we do it now? No, wait a minute. If I kill him before 5 updates, I'll have let the readers down. If it succeeds, kill him too, as a way of thanking God. If we do it now, we might have to kill 2. We don't have many people left, so we need to conserve our resources. Chapter 59 How Important Family Harmony Is. Looking at Naruto from another perspective, it's practically a family tragedy. It tells the story of a clan called the Otsutsuki, and how their internal discord led to events that nearly destroyed the world. This story teaches us how important family harmony is. Uzumaki soon doesn't know if his Uzumaki clan system counts as direct blood ties to the Otsutsuki clan, since one of the requirements to become a 6th path level cultivator is having some kind of ability related to the Otsutsuki. As for Uzumaki Naruto, that's not relevant. He's a cheat code. With a rich dad paying for his membership, he's incomparable. So I can only rely on myself, Uzumaki soon thought wistfully. He also longed to be a second-generation cheater. Aren't I already a cheat code? The system said. But you have to pay for it, and nobody's paying for it. The system decided it didn't want to continue the conversation. This host was no good. Always thinking about getting something for nothing. Maybe it should just kill him and get a new host? Although there were some regrets, as he could only rely on himself, Uzumaki soon was still very grateful for his current life. He had parents who were crazy but loved him very much, and some clansmen who, although a bit hot-tempered, were kind. What more could he ask for? If he had a father like Gaara's dad, it would have been terrible. Even worse than ruining a son. Seeing Minato successfully seal the tailed beast into his child, he wanted to try it too, and he succeeded. So the 6th path still loved his child, even the second prince's wife was favored. But Raza was just too damn awful. After successfully sealing it, he still wanted to test if his child had any kindness in his heart. You have to know that Gaara was just a child at the time. That kind of thing, even an adult probably couldn't handle it, let alone a child. As a result, this test caused problems. Gaara felt that he was a child without a father or mother's love, and now even his uncle didn't want him anymore, so his heart instantly turned black. Then, Raza felt the experiment had failed, so he kept sending assassins to kill Gaara, making Gaara even more lonely, bloodthirsty, and world-weary. Seriously, you went too far. Otherwise, how could this have happened? The thought that becoming a parent doesn't require an exam is terrifying. If it weren't for Naruto's sweet talk, Gaara would probably be one of those destroying the ninja world by now. But even after his dark side, Gaara still fell in love with Naruto. Every time I see Gaara and Naruto together later on, it feels so gay, so I think Gaara is definitely about him. Didn't you see that Gaara didn't even get married for Naruto? He just adopted a child and silently protected Naruto in his heart. So, Gaara's life is a tragedy. This is why he didn't have good parents, which also shows how important family harmony is, and how much damage single-parent families can do to a child's psyche. He falls head over heels for someone just because of a little comfort from them. Naruto, could this be considered taking advantage of a moment's insecurity? Uzumaki soon glanced over, seeing his father grabbing his ear with an angry expression, while his father could only chuckle and comfort him. He would definitely never become that kind of person. Uzumaki soon leaned closer, wanting to hear what was going on. After all, his father was once the daimyo of the land of whirlpools. He still had to save face in public. His mother, really, couldn't she have waited until they got home to beat him up? What? You want to too? Uzumaki Mirai shouted angrily, grabbing Uzumaki Rise's ear. Two? What two? Uzumaki soon was stunned, staring at his father in disbelief, filled with admiration. His father, amazing, amazing. He even told his mother about this, really. Wasn't kneeling on the keyboard enough? Or did he think he didn't have enough housework? Was he trying to cause trouble? No, that's not what I meant, Uzumaki Rise said quickly, her ear being pulled. I love you. Uzumaki soon shook his head. He'd already found two, what did it matter if he loved her or not? His mother was really something, how could she do this in public? Do you think you're my son? All that could be heard was Uzumaki Mealing's angry roar. Uzumaki soon immediately changed his tune. He had to be beaten hard. This kind of thing couldn't be tolerated. She was even planning to find him a stepmother? Wasn't that fair to him? Wasn't that fair to his mother? Knowing his mother was so beautiful, gentle, and kind, she still wanted to find another one. He snorted coldly at his father, indicating he would absolutely not side with him, and then turned and left. He still had to give his father some face. Daimyo and Uzumaki Mealing were completely bewildered. What's wrong with Sun? Uzumaki Mealing asked. He probably doesn't like us making decisions for him. Daimyo guessed. Then why are you still? Uzumaki Sun listened helplessly to his father's screams. Wasn't this a family tragedy? He decided against thinking about it. He wondered if the ninjas who had gone out had returned. He had arranged for people to wait around, and once they returned, he would bring them over immediately. After all, this news was too important. He wondered if he could even get the hero's water from Takigakure, or the puppet technique from Tsunagakure. Your Highness Sun, they're back. They're back. Suddenly, a Uzumaki ninja ran over excitedly, saying, the people who went out on missions have all returned. You said they were all back? Uzumaki Sun immediately stood up and asked, where are they now? On their way. Were there any casualties? The Uzumaki ninja fell silent. Seeing this, Uzumaki Sun knew what was going on. Sure enough, apart from catching cats and weeding, any other mission was uncertain. Uzumaki Sun sighed and said wistfully, now take me to their side. The war should be over. What happened? Narashikasa asked, frowning. Why were they suddenly on a mission? And what was all that commotion about? Had an enemy invaded? It seems like some Uzushiagakure ninja have appeared, a Konoha ninja said. Then the Anbu went over. Uzushiagakure ninja? The war was over? People were fleeing from the land of whirlpools? Narashikasa asked, how many are there? Are there any civilians among them? It seems not, and not many, the ninja said. But for some reason, they seem to have started fighting. It's finally come to this. Narashikasa sighed and said, don't worry about anything, that's not our mission. Remember, ninjas don't need curiosity. That's how you survive longer. Chapter 2, please give me some recommendations. Chapter 60 Negotiations End. Uzumaki-jun saw the returnees, only 12. 16 jonin, only 12 returned, their green vests dusty from their journey, their faces beaming with joy. Though they were all slightly injured, their vests cracked, their excitement was undeniable. Seeing this, Uzumaki-jun's eyes reddened. They had all diligently carried out his mission. Your Highness Jun, we succeeded. One of the jonin carefully pulled out a scroll, a smile on his face, and respectfully presented it with both hands. This is the super lightness and weight technique from Iwagakure. This is the hero's water from the land of waterfalls. And this is the puppet technique from the land of sand, but the sand village only agreed to give us the basic version. Looking at what they brought back, Uzumaki-jun secretly wiped away his tears, smiling as he said, you are truly heroes of the land of whirlpools. Now that they had obtained everything, then, how did they get injured? Your injuries? Uzumaki-sun asked in confusion. He had already said that if things couldn't be done, they should retreat, but they had actually lost 4 jonin. What happened? Did they start trading halfway through the fight? Don't be ridiculous. How can you do business like this? No fight, no friendship? They've already killed people, how can they do business now? It was the Anbu. The Uzumaki ninja exchanged glances and finally decided to speak. Konoha's Anbu. They discovered us and wanted to take us away, but in the end, to cover our retreat, they. Hearing the Uzumaki ninja's words, Uzumaki soon clenched his fists tightly. He hadn't expected it, he really hadn't expected it. The people who sacrificed themselves didn't die at the hands of another ninja village, but at the hands of their own allies. Hiruzen Sarutobi would never dare to be so blatant. He had painstakingly cultivated the image of a kind unapproachable village chief, and he would never let it be destroyed so easily. So, rude. But Uzumaki soon didn't care. Whether it was the Anbu or Root, they were all Konoha's people. But now, Uzumaki soon said apologetically, it wasn't the right time, or rather, the land of whirlpools couldn't afford to turn against Konoha. Whether now or in the future, Konoha's reputation in the ninja world was still quite good. But, if it came at a price, he would definitely get his revenge from Konoha. It's alright. The whirlpool ninjas were completely confused, having no idea what Uzumaki-sun was talking about. Yes, Lord Sun doesn't need to apologize to us. We are ninjas, we just need to follow orders. Seeing this, Uzumaki soon sighed softly in his heart and slowly said, the land of whirlpools will become stronger, and Konoha will also pay the price. At the same time, in the Kurigakure encampment. What did you say? The Mizukage's assistant was stunned upon hearing the words of the Jonin who had run over from Kurigakure, staring at him in disbelief. Because he had traveled by small boat and rushed all the way, this mist ninja was in poor spirits, but he still managed to reach the Mizukage's tent and respectfully said, it's true, that Tsuchikage is leading a large force to the border. He was a pro-Mizukage, so he didn't want anything to happen to the Mizukage. Once the regime changed, who knew what the next Mizukage would do? It's better to be alive. Snap. The Mizukage's assistant saw the Jonin's expression and immediately became serious. It seemed he wasn't joking, but what exactly did that Tsuchikage want to do? Quick, go and call the Mizukage-sama. Something terrible has happened. At the same time, notify all parties, an emergency meeting. An emergency meeting. No matter what you're doing, come to the meeting. If this wasn't resolved soon, it wouldn't just be a matter of being dismissed. Damn it, why am I so unlucky? It seems like everything has gone wrong since I set foot in the land of whirlpools. Have you found anything? A Jonin wearing a Konoha Anbu mask asked suspiciously. We didn't find anything on their bodies, another masked Jonin shook his head and said. Their memories seem to be sealed. The Uzumaki clan truly lives up to its reputation as a family renowned throughout the ninja world for its sealing techniques. What exactly does this Uzumaki clan want? They've appeared here at this time, and all of them are Jonin. Could it be, they haven't dealt with Kurigakure yet? What a bunch of useless trash. They still have the nerve to call themselves one of the 5 great ninja villages? They can't even destroy a small country. Send the message to Lord Danzo and see what he plans. Where is the Hokage? Don't worry about him, follow Lord Danzo's orders. Yes. Seeing the ninjas who had gone out on missions return, the Uzumaki clan was overjoyed, because they remembered, when the ninjas returned from their missions, the war would end. They firmly believed in this statement, because it was said by Lord Jun. Only the clan head and elder seemed to notice something was wrong with Uzumaki Jun, sighed, and approached. Soon, don't blame yourself. The elder patted Sun's shoulder and sat down beside him, saying, this is the fate of a ninja. But all of this could have been avoided. Sun shook his head and said, it's all my fault, because of my decision. It could have all ended sooner. If only the tail had been given to Kurigakure, all of this would have been over. Or if we had avoided the land of fire, just a little slower, then they wouldn't have sacrificed themselves. Haha. The elder laughed loudly, you've done enough. To be honest, I thought the land of whirlpools was really finished this time, but because of you, the land of whirlpools won, and even the land of whirlpools will become stronger. We've always believed that. A 7-year-old cage level. Unheard of in the ninja world. However, what they didn't know was that Sun was just an ordinary Jonin now, and that was truly just an accident. So they truly believe in you, the elder said, looking at Uzumaki-jun. Compared to the daimyo of the land of whirlpools, the head of the Uzumaki clan now trusts you even more. You brought them victory. The land of whirlpools doesn't need a weeping daimyo. The Uzumaki clan has no cowards, we fear no hardship. So, do what you want to do. We old folks will always support you. As for Konoha, a fair glint appeared on the elders' faces, the land of whirlpools will settle accounts with them then. Hearing the elder's words, Uzumaki-jun sighed helplessly. It was all because the land of whirlpools was too weak. If the land of whirlpools were strong, stronger than any other country, how could they dare to act so easily? I will make the land of whirlpools strong. Stronger than ever. He always believed he could make the land of whirlpools strong. Your Highness Jun, Kurigakure requests negotiations. Finally, the final negotiations had arrived. The war had begun. And it should end at this moment, but now, Kurigakure is shrouded in sorrow. Yesterday, they righteously rejected the land of whirlpools, and now they're pressuring them to negotiate. And this time, Kurigakure is even more anxious. Hazuki Jinjetsu, gripping a cup in his right hand, was so enraged he wanted to take that Tsuchikage down with him. Damn it, they broke their promise. Even though he hasn't conquered the land of whirlpools or obtained the sealing techniques, they can't go back on their word. Everything was agreed upon, but now they're thinking of going back on their word. What is this Tsuchikage thinking? Agree to the land of whirlpools conditions. Hazuki Genjutsu sighed, seemingly using all his strength to speak. The Hidden Mist Village has no time left, this all needs to be resolved immediately. Otherwise, the land of Earth's border will collapse, and the losses will be even more severe. We must get there immediately. As for the money, the Hazuki clan will pay. Lord Mizukage. The Mizukage's assistant opened his mouth, seemingly wanting to say something, but finally sighed. He was in dire straits himself, it was best not to worry about anything else. Yes. He could only reply. Now, let's end this quickly. But, Lord Mizukage, we don't have a ship. Chapter 3. Chapter 61. The war ends. The second round of negotiations proceeded smoothly. After the clan had laid out the terms, Hazuki Genjutsu, his face ashen, signed the agreement, promising to deliver the silver notes in 3 days. The clan had then tossed over the sealing scroll containing the 3 tails. Uzumaki-jun, however, was unconcerned. He wasn't worried that Kurigakure would default on its debts. This wasn't the transition period between World War II and World War III. The transition between World War I and World War II was still quite long, enough time for Kurigakure to repay. If Kurigakure didn't hand over the money in 3 days, he planned to send Uzumaki ninja to the Land of Water to spread the news that the Mizukage hadn't repaid the debt. He wondered if Kurigakure could withstand that. If even the Mizukage was untrustworthy, how could anyone believe Kurigakure and send them on missions? A ninja village's reputation was paramount. Once its reputation was ruined, no one would send missions, and without missions, the village would have no income. So, Hazuki Genjutsu said he'd pay back the money in 3 days, and he meant it. He couldn't afford to lose face like that. Even if he died, his clan would carry it out, and the people of Kurigakure might even pressure them for the money. As for how the Kurigakure ninja would get to the Land of Earth, that's none of the Land of Whirlpool's business. Anyway, according to the news from below, the Mizukage was leading the Kurigakure ninja across the sea, intending to go to Konoha. It seems they wanted to borrow passage from Konoha. But, I wonder if Hazuki Genjutsu would seek compensation from Sarutobi Hiruzen at this time? Hell, I bet the Konoha ninjas scattered around the Land of Whirlpools would have a very strange expression when they saw that the people crossing the sea were Kurigakure ninjas, especially since most of them were swimming. Tisk tisk, just imagining that scene is exciting. A powerful maritime nation doesn't even have ships? Is the Land of Water so poor that even ninja villages don't provide boats anymore? Do ninjas have to swim across the sea? That's too hard. But all of this has nothing to do with Uzumaki-jun. As dusk settled, Uzumaki-jun sighed inwardly, the war is finally over. Since arriving in this ninja world as a child, his actions and words were often misunderstood and disbelieved. The destruction of the Land of Whirlpools had always weighed heavily on his heart, but now, it was all over. Perhaps there would be more wars in the Land of Whirlpools, but that would be in a few years. By then, the Land of Whirlpools would surely be stronger. Compared to those ninja villages that grew weaker with each battle, the Land of Whirlpools would definitely catch up. Now we can go to the cave and tell the people, Uzumaki said, looking at Uzumaki-jun beside him, the war is over. If they want to come up, make it clear to them first that nothing outside is ready, there's simply not enough place to live. Because they wanted a spacious area for the battlefield, most of the houses and facilities had been demolished, especially after the tailed beast balls, making them practically uninhabitable. At the same time, collect all available food. The country is in dire straits right now. From now on, food will be distributed uniformly. For now, they could only temporarily implement a system of public ownership. Only after everything in the Land of Whirlpools had recovered could they implement policy reforms. Yes, the cave. After nearly a month of war, the people living in the cave were starting to panic, their hearts filled with worry. They were afraid their loved ones had died on the battlefield, afraid the Land of Whirlpools had been destroyed, afraid they would become refugees, or even be killed by the ninja. The civilians of the ninja world had too many fears. The war is over. Suddenly, a voice came from the cave entrance, and everyone immediately became excited. All the citizens looked at each other in disbelief. What did the ninja say? I don't know. A civilian said uncertainly. It seems to be saying, the war is over? This, really? I don't know. Just as everyone was arguing, several Whirlpool ninjas ran in excitedly. The war is over, the Land of Whirlpools has won, we have succeeded. Whoa. This time they finally heard it clearly, and everyone jumped up excitedly. It's true, it's really a victory. Long live the land of whirlpools. We don't have to worry anymore. The whirlpool ninjas, hearing the excited jumpers, didn't stop them, because when they heard it was truly over, they went even crazier than the others, basically unleashing ninjutsu everywhere. Bibbin, it's Bibbin. Suddenly, an elderly voice rang out. Grandma, I'm here. Uzumaki Bibbin, a Genin of the Uzumaki clan, ran over as soon as he heard the message, also to see his grandmother. He quickly ran to her side and said, I'm alright, I even killed several mist ninjas. Good, good. Grandma patted Uzumaki Bibbin happily and said, the Uzumaki clan isn't afraid of anyone. Your father was just like you back then, killing several Jonins. However, those who knew Bibbin's father rolled their eyes. His father had only just become a Chunin and was already defeated. Killing several Jonins? That was all bragging. Yes, I will continue to work hard. Uzumaki Bibbin nodded and said. Bibbin, have you seen Haruki? A woman ran to Bibbin's side, her eyes filled with worry, and asked anxiously, how is he? He's fine, he's out on a mission. And what about my hero? What happened to him? Hero. I'm sorry. Hero actually. Uncle Zay, what's wrong? Seeing the middle-aged man about to faint in front of him, Bibbin hurriedly helped him up. There was nothing he could do about it, because war means death, and the ninjas were prepared. And what about my boy? However, everyone ignored whether anyone had fainted and anxiously pulled at the ninjas, asking questions. As for Kai at the door, he had already guessed what was going on, so he didn't come in. He wanted them to calm down first. Talking now could get you beaten up, don't you believe it? Even though he was a ninja, some people, when they go crazy, will even beat up ninjas. Feeling someone pulling at his disguise, Kai frowned and lowered his head. Miss? It was actually the clan leader's daughter. He quickly bowed respectfully and asked, Miss, what are your orders? However, Kushina ignored him, peeking out of the cave to see what was outside, and said, where is Sunmi? Why didn't he come to see her? She immediately pouted unhappily. His Highness soon has a mission. Uzumaki-ji wiped his sweat and said carefully, he also asked me to come and check on you. Really? Kushina stared at Uzumaki-ji with her big, bright eyes, as if to say, don't lie to me, or I'll beat you up. Of course. Uzumaki-ji quickly said, His Highness soon even asked you if you wanted to go to his side first? This little devil is not to be trifled with. He really will beat him up. Really? Kushina's eyes lit up, but after thinking for a moment, she frowned curtly and said, No, I promised Sunni I would keep an eye on this place. Don't worry, it's alright now, the war is over. Uzumaki-ji said with a smile. No, thank you. Kushina thought for a moment, then shook her cute little head and said, I'll go out later. Yes, miss. Chapter 4. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62. It's snowing. It's snowing. At dawn, the trees and roads throughout the land of whirlpools are dotted with light snowflakes. Looking at the snow, Uzumaki-jun knows that winter has begun in the ninja world. His heart is filled with emotion. This is a major disaster for the ninja world. Although the war is over, many refugees still exist throughout the ninja world, so, this is just the beginning of their miserable lives. Uzumaki-jun doesn't consider himself a saint or anything like that. He can't bear to see others suffer, but, the land of whirlpools needs these refugees to develop, so a trip to Konoha is necessary. Once everything in the land of whirlpools is settled, it will be time to go to Konoha. As for what dangers might arise, Uzumaki-jun firmly believes that as long as Danzo doesn't act recklessly, nothing will happen, because Konoha is an ally of the Uzumaki clan and would never dare to act recklessly openly. And secretly, besides the Dark Ninja Society, who else would do such a thing? Build houses first, Uzumaki soon said earnestly, looking at the high-ranking members of the Uzumaki clan. If we want to develop, we can only attract refugees. At the same time, we must ensure they have food and shelter. These people are currently facing disaster. If the land of whirlpools treats them well now, they will become the loyal pillars of the land of whirlpools in the future. Uzumaki soon looked around at everyone. The houses don't need to be fancy, just enough to provide shelter from the wind, but they must be spacious. Currently, The Uzumaki clan has too few Earth attribute ninjas, and their control abilities are insufficient, so they cannot build very good or elaborate houses. Therefore, for now, Uzumaki soon only needs large houses that block the wind. After all, it's just for winter, and they'll be dismantled later. He already has plans for the land of whirlpools. Besides, Kato will bring back some tents, which should be enough. Ninjas are generally very robust, so the main concern is the health of the civilians. We must make sure they don't get sick this winter. Wind-style ninjas will cut down trees, while Earth-style ninjas will assist in building houses, Uzumaki soon said, pointing to a map of the land of whirlpools. This area is now mostly empty due to the war. You just need to build a model of the trees, then use earth release to enclose it, making sure it's sturdy and windproof. He believed this should be quite simple for those with weak chakra control. Build as many as you can, Uzumaki soon said seriously. We must build enough houses while the snow gets heavy. Once the snow gets heavy, building houses will become extremely difficult. Yes. At the same time, when the civilians come out, set aside some to go logging. Although they may not be able to log as much as the ninjas, many hands make light work. We are in a very urgent situation and need to gather all our forces. Uzumaki soon scanned the surrounding ninjas. Ninjas assisting civilians must not be allowed to bully them. Work for relief, only by working can they eat. Whether they are ninjas or civilians. This is an emergency, and we absolutely cannot allow any accidents to happen. Having something to do will help them calm down and prevent them from having wild thoughts. However, those who are too old, too young, pregnant, or otherwise unable to work will not need to work. Families of those who died in the war will also not need to work. The rest will all work. As for the younger ones, they will receive ninja training. Some ninjas will be assigned as temporary teachers, and the parents will be made clear that they will not actually become ninjas in the future. This must be made clear. If they disagree, then forget it. This aspect is entrusted to you, Zimu. Uzumaki soon turned to look at Uzumaki Zimu and said, there must be no trouble. Yes. Uzumaki Zimu replied. Also, send a portion to accompany Uzumaki Ji to obtain food. Uzumaki soon looked at Ji beside him and said, whether it's fishing or hunting, we must obtain enough food during this time. No matter how much food Gato has later, it must be stockpiled, and we should also obtain as much meat as possible during this time to avoid malnutrition. Distribute the grain uniformly. Find a few who can't handle heavy loads and have them arrange food preparation. Make sure the people of the land of whirlpools are well fed. Yes. All the ninjas responded. Uzumaki soon watched the ninjas go out to work, then turned his gaze back to the map of the land of whirlpools. This was just the beginning. Once winter was over, it would be time for the land of whirlpools to develop, and during this time, they absolutely couldn't let these people think that the land of whirlpools was obligated to support them, allowing them to become lazy. A little kindness is appreciated, but too much kindness breeds resentment. Uzumaki soon knew this all too well. However, this was unavoidable. Winter was coming right after the war. Not only were people already freezing to death in the land of whirlpools during winter, but now, if they weren't prepared, the land of whirlpools might descend into internal strife. Can the system concoct cement and bloodstains? If there was cement, it would be much more convenient, and houses could be built more sturdily. No, but there's a method for making cement. Sigh. What use are you? This system can only exchange for items you already own, so you'll have to rely on yourself to synthesize special bloodstains. Is there a cheat for synthesizing bloodstains? No. Forget it, don't get your hopes up. This system is practically useless right now. Uzumaki soon felt the temperature dropping lower and lower. He'd been woken up by the cold this morning. In cold weather, keeping warm is crucial. Therefore, charcoal is one of the essential supplies to stockpile for winter, but the land of whirlpools only has oil fields, no coal mines. Do you have a recipe for charcoal? Yes, 10,000 reputation points. That's ridiculously expensive. Want some? I'll exchange it. Uzumaki soon gritted his teeth and said. Although charcoal seems to exist in Naruto, it seems that as a commoner, very few people use it, most starve or freeze to death. It seems charcoal is still very expensive in the ninja world, and ordinary people can't afford it. Although charcoal pollutes the environment, he couldn't care less about that now. Survive. Survival is the only goal now. If no one freezes to death this winter, his prestige in the land of whirlpools will rise again, to unimaginable heights, making it much easier to do whatever he wants. Take a few fire-style ninjas, wind-style ninjas, and earth-style ninjas. Make charcoal using this method. Uzumaki soon secretly took out the charcoal-making recipe he had exchanged with his system and handed it to the Jonin beside him. He had just looked at it. The instructions were quite easy to understand. He believed that after a few experiments, they could make qualified charcoal. This task is very important. Yes, the Jonin replied. Although they didn't know how to make charcoal, since Prince Sun had given them the recipe, they were certain they could make it. They believed tents, food, and supplies were all purchased by Gato, but as for charcoal, they believed that production during this period should be sufficient. Moreover, once the houses were built, these civilians would come to help, increasing charcoal production even further. So, ninjas are indeed convenient. As long as there's enough chakra, that's fine. The Uzumaki clan perfectly fits this requirement, but they have too few elemental attributes and poor control, making it difficult to execute refined ninjutsu. So, what to do now that everything's ready? This winter is going to be quite long. They absolutely can't be allowed to sit idle. Perhaps, build a factory? Or what else can they do? Have them stay indoors and give birth in the dead of winter? At the same time, this period can also be used to start ninja education for the young citizens, gradually spreading ninja training. When winter is over, it will be time for the Land of Whirlpools to develop. Uzumaki-jun is full of confidence in the future of the Land of Whirlpools. 5th update, complete. I keep my word, so please give me some recommendation votes. Chapter 63. The first step is to live in peace. In the year XX of Konoha, the First Shinobi World War, which engulfed the entire shinobi world, officially ended with its Tsuchikage and Mizukage perishing together. This war was particularly brutal, with 4 Kage, the 2nd Hokage Tabirama Senju, the 2nd Reikage, the 2nd Tsuchikage Mu, and the 2nd Mizukage Jinjutsu Azuki, dying in the battle. The entire shinobi world was immersed in grief. Not only the shinobi, but also the civilians affected by the war were plunged into sorrow. Their homes were destroyed, their loved ones were innocently killed, and they became refugees, constantly wandering the shinobi world. Hunger and cold became their most feared nightmares. To survive, they could only constantly seek places that would accept them. However, for the culprits, the shinobi villages, they would not accept strangers without reason, fearing they might be enemy spies. Unless you were an innocent child or possessed your own talent, they would accept you and use their own unique educational methods to help you grow up and shine for their shinobi village. The old and useless could only continue wandering, searching for a place to survive, and finally, froze or starved to death on the road. It was the 5th day after the end of the war in the Land of Whirlpools. All the citizens had become accustomed to this communal lifestyle. After breakfast, they followed their assigned ninjas to their assigned areas to work. 3 meals a day, each with meat. This kind of life was unbelievable to them. Even in peacetime, they couldn't afford 3 meals a day, let alone meat. Only ninjas had this kind of life. Although the work was hard and the weather was cold, no one slacked off. They cherished this time. And each household received enough charcoal periodically. Although the smell was unpleasant, with Lord Sun's help, they could set up a stove, making it less unbearable. Perhaps, under Lord Sun's leadership, life in the Land of Whirlpools would become even better. Their hearts were filled with anticipation. The pregnant women and infants were housed separately by Prince Sun. While there seemed to be no charcoal, there was enough clothing to help them get through the winter. Of course, if they were a family, they would also be given their own small home. Furthermore, anyone who fell ill could seek free treatment from medical ninjas. Such a life was simply unimaginable. Actually, war isn't so bad, a young man said to his companion while chopping wood. 3 meals a day, meat, and we don't have to worry about the cold. Don't talk nonsense, his companion rolled his eyes. That's because the war is over. If it were always war, we'd probably still be stuck in our caves. That's right, it's all thanks to Prince Sun, another man carrying logs said with admiration. The ninja said that under Prince Sun's leadership, our lives will get better and better. However, the foreman, seeing them whispering, came over and said sternly, "What are you doing? Get back to work. You know our area is the slowest. If we get punished and don't get any meat, you'll be crying." The young men chuckled sheepishly, leaning forward and saying, "Ninja, tell us about it, tell us about the war." Yeah, as long as we're chopping wood, we're all ears." "What, ninja master? The steward immediately straightened his face and said, "Call me steward, or steward Dao." Seeing the ninja master's stern face, they weren't angry, because they were already used to it. Putting everything else aside, there wasn't much difference between ninjas and them. Last time they did a good job, Steward Dao even gave them a big bowl of meat. Just thinking about that thick layer of meat juice made their mouths water. Want to hear Prince Sun's story? Seeing that they weren't afraid of him, Uzumaki Dao smiled and said helplessly, "Let's eat. We'll talk about it after we eat. You guys work hard now, otherwise if Uzumaki Jin and his team surpass you, I'll definitely beat you up." Yes. Hearing that they would be beaten up, no one was afraid and still responded cheerfully. They had heard this sentence several times, but they still hadn't actually been hit. They would just kick a few times in the butt and dust themselves off, and nothing would happen. Watching everyone work diligently, Uzumaki Tao murmured, "This feels so good." Ever since becoming a ninja, these people would respectfully greet him with greetings, "Ninja-sama," and then leave in fear. Perhaps it felt novel at first, but as time went on, something felt off. Slowly, his former friends were reduced to just other ninjas like himself. At first, when Prince Sun asked him to be a supervisor, he felt a mix of fear and excitement. He had never led civilians in work before and was afraid he wouldn't be able to complete Prince Sun's task. As for the excitement, well, it was because Prince Sun actually remembered him. He happily accepted the task, leading the civilians with a stern face. But after spending some time together, this feeling is so nostalgic. Uzumaki Tao murmured. These people weren't afraid of him anymore, they even joked with him. Now he understood why things had turned out this way. Civilians had spent far too little time with ninjas. That's why they were afraid of suddenly dying at the hands of a ninja. Peace is wonderful. How's the situation down there? Uzumaki soon asked the ninja beside him, has anything unpleasant happened? This was only the first step, to get the civilians and ninjas to live together and integrate. As technology advances, ordinary people will become increasingly powerful, and the role of ninjas will weaken. Therefore, if ninjas don't adapt, they might disappear in the future. While his prestige is high enough, he wants to foster peaceful coexistence now so it won't seem strange later. Furthermore, Uzumaki soon didn't want to follow a purely technological path. He wanted to forge a path unique to the ninja world, a path combining ninjas and technology, like scientific tools. But now wasn't the time, because there were too few ninjas, which was detrimental to the development of the land of whirlpools. At first, the civilians were afraid, but after a while, they've all gotten along peacefully. The male ninja acting as his secretary said respectfully, his heart filled with admiration. He couldn't believe that Prince Sun could achieve peaceful coexistence between civilians and ninjas. This was practically unimaginable in the ninja world. Ninjas were high above, holding the lives of ordinary people in their hands, while the common people feared them, afraid of dying for no reason. Now, because of their shared work, ninjas were actually able to coexist peacefully with the common people. It was unbelievable. Perhaps an era of peaceful coexistence between commoners and ninjas would appear in Prince Sun's hands. Uzumaki Hibiki looked at the 7-year-old boy before her with adoration. Perhaps Prince Sun would become a great man in the ninja world, just like the legendary sage of 6 paths who founded Ninjutsu, bringing a different kind of peace to the ninja world. True Peace. Chapter 1. Chapter 64. Take unofficial historical accounts with a grain of salt. Uzumaki Jun nodded at Hibiki's words, having already anticipated this outcome. Given his current power, the Uzumaki ninja were quite obedient, making this the perfect time to resolve the class conflicts within the land of whirlpools. Since Uzumaki Kai had led his men fishing and hunting, his secretary had been temporarily replaced. Initially, he considered a female secretary, pleasing to the eye and with a sweet voice, but female jonin were too few. Most were assigned to lead female civilians. And Uzumaki Jun glanced at Kushina, who was looking around curiously, and she even had a little girl with her. At first, Uzumaki Jun was curious when he heard Kushina had a sister, wondering who the red hot chili pepper, the little devil of Uzumaki village, would consider his sister. But when he saw it was Nagato's mother, Uzumaki Jun was stunned. This was the person who would one day create the #1 ninja gang in the ninja world. Even if she was just a puppet. But she's also a fool, a ruthless one. She killed Jiraiya, a top-tier ninja teacher. Especially when he saw that Uzumaki Fuso was pregnant, Uzumaki Jun immediately thought that charcoal was dangerous for pregnant women, So he quickly divided the pregnant women up together and prepared more clothes for them so they wouldn't get cold. Otherwise, if the genius of the land of whirlpools had a difficult childbirth, Uzumaki-jun wouldn't know where to cry. This is the future of the land of whirlpools. What will happen when we gather the entire frog squad? Just thinking about it is exciting. Is there anything missing? Uzumaki-jun thought for a moment and said. After all, there were too many people, and he couldn't keep an eye on them all, so basically each person in charge would report to their superior every night, and the secretary would tell him the next day. The Ministry of Works sent word that many squads haven't received their equipment yet, Hibiki Uzumaki said, flipping through her memo. I hope His Highness soon can find a solution quickly, he seems to be reaching his limit. Seeing this, Hibiki felt a headache coming on. The Minister of Works had been bothering him for a long time, even at night, making it difficult for him to sleep. But, he couldn't produce the equipment either. Hibiki secretly glanced at Sun Uzumaki and saw that his chosen prince also looked troubled. Equipment. However, he was helpless against Sun. Because logging and fishing were necessary, tools were crucial for both ordinary people and ninjas, but iron smelting was too late, not to mention, the land of whirlpools had no iron ore. In the end, they could only exchange for the land of sand's bloodstained magnet release. And that's 3 million reputation points. Incredibly expensive. More expensive than a devil fruit. When asked about the system's explanation, it said that devil fruits are the mainstream power in the One Piece world, and the bloodline limit is too restrictive for the ninja world. Synthesizing them is too troublesome, and they can only be obtained through bloodline inheritance, with conditions for awakening, making them extremely difficult to acquire. And, since you can't exchange them for devil fruits anyway, why ask so many questions? Uzumaki-sun instantly cursed. This is truly a seller market. What could he say? Besides a laugh, what else could he say? So in the end, he still exchanged them, using magnet release, gold sand axe technique. Magnet release, gold sand saw technique. He created them one by one with chakra, but even with his vast chakra reserves, he couldn't create hundreds of thousands. Lately, his kidneys have been aching from exhaustion, he's a bit weak. Let me rest for a bit, Uzumaki-sun said helplessly, I'm still a child. Constantly working so hard isn't good for his young body's development. What if he doesn't grow tall enough? Hearing Prince Sun's words, Uzumaki Hibiki was speechless. She almost forgot that no matter how powerful Prince Sun was, he was still a 7-year-old child. Yes, I will tell them, Uzumaki Hibiki said. In any case, Prince Sun's health was very important, he was the future of the land of whirlpools. Hearing Uzumaki Hibiki's words, Uzumaki-sun was stunned. She actually believed it. Forget it, after the inspection, I'll go back to my bricklaying, Uzumaki-sun said helplessly. Anyway, he still needed to prepare all the tools, otherwise, the subsequent work would be impossible. And let me tell you, this gold dust is really useful. Not only can it channel chakra, but it can also be transformed into various forms for attack and defense. It's even better than steel for making axes. The so-called strongest defense is indeed not just for show. No wonder Gar wasn't favored by his father, it's probably because he didn't inherit magnet release and couldn't bring any profit to Tsunagakure. And the reason Gar later adopted someone with magnet release is probably because Tsunagakure was broke. After all, the ninja world became more peaceful later on, and the role of ninjas diminished. Tsunagakure didn't have any special products, so they had no income and planned to sell gold dust to make money. Otherwise, the village couldn't develop at all. A ninja from Konoha has arrived, hoping Prince Jun will go there, Hibiki Uzumaki said, flipping through her memo. They say Lady Mito misses you. Everyone in the land of whirlpools was dismissive of this, they all knew what Konoha wanted to do, so they advised Prince Jun to ignore it. However, he still had to go to Konoha, but not now. Ignore them for now, Uzumaki-sun said. And don't let them enter the land of whirlpools. Tell them the land of whirlpools is in ruins and can't afford to entertain them. If we find any spies from other villages, then knock them out and throw them out. We can't afford to mess with them now. Knocking them out is enough. No need to kill them. Anyway, there are no secrets here. If they see it, they see it. We'll gather the strength of the masses and expose all the spies. You know, the power of the Chaoyuan masses is beyond your imagination. Yes. Uzumaki Hibiki was satisfied with Uzumaki-sun's decision. Damn it, why wasn't he so enthusiastic before? Now he's so enthusiastic, There must be a conspiracy. You know, Konoha is very shady. Actually, I had expected my reputation to spread, but I didn't expect it to be so fast. It's estimated that Hazuki Genjutsu told Konoha this, but it's unclear whether this eyebrowless guy will accept compensation from Sarutobi Hiruzen. As for the rumors about the significance of being a Kage after dying alongside that Tsuchikage, Uzumaki-jun completely ignored it. He figured it was just another sycophant spreading the word, like how in a few years they definitely spread rumors about the third Hokage being the strongest Kage. It's all for the sake of power. As for Hazuki Genjutsu, it was probably spread by his faction, wanting to promote the idea that the Mizukage hadn't neglected his duties, thus making their lives a little easier. After all, Hazuki Genjutsu had caused the Uzumaki clan to sell off their assets, let alone the lower-ranking ninjas. As for why that Tsuchikage fought so fiercely, Uzumaki-jun guessed that initially, that Tsuchikage just wanted to put pressure on them and then leave when Hazuki Genjutsu appeared. But how could Hazuki Genjutsu accept that? He'd swum all that way, and then he just stopped fighting? This is a lie. So Hazuki Genjutsu went crazy, fighting and cursing that Tsuchikage as a son of a bitch for not keeping his word. Immediately, Wu was furious. Did you know why he was covered in bandages? It was because he fought Hazuki Genjutsu and got roasted like a pig. And smoked it. That feeling, it really hurt. So what if Wu lied to you about it? You know you were burned to level 10 disability, disfigured, and even finding a wife is difficult. Compared to lying, how can you insult someone for deceiving you once? As a Kage, that's incredibly rude. Then Wu started cursing too. Finally, old and new grudges erupted in that instant, and the two, enraged, died together. It seems the scene wasn't good, too humiliating for the Kage, so the subordinates had to embellish it to maintain the Kage's dignity. Didn't you see? Even Iwagakure says Kurigakure is right. Their Kage is that great. So just listen to these anecdotes, don't take them too seriously, or they might think you've insulted their Kage and come after you. Brainless fans. They're not to be trifled with. Second update. Chapter 65 Collecting Red Slogans. Uzumaki soon walked around, inspecting the various work sites. All the workers and ninjas, upon seeing Prince Soon, respectfully put down their work and bowed to him. This gave Uzumaki Soon, a transmigrator, a great sense of satisfaction. In his previous life, he was just a shut-in. He'd never experienced such admiration before. Tisk tisk, this feeling, so satisfying. Uzumaki Soon smiled, nodding repeatedly, as if to say, "Comrades, you've worked hard. Comrades, we're doing well." He walked up to them, casually asking how their work was going, whether they'd eaten enough, and if they'd caught a cold at night. It was as if the future of the land of whirlpools depended on them, and they couldn't be harmed. If he weren't so young, he would have wanted to go up and shake their hands. In short, after this wave of activity, the citizens of the land of whirlpools, whether civilians or ninjas, all looked incredibly grateful, their expressions filled with excitement as they wanted to shine and dedicate themselves to the land of whirlpools. Seeing this, Uzumaki soon nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. At this rate, great things are on the horizon for the land of whirlpools. Only when the people love their country can the country become stronger. But, for some reason, Uzumaki-jun felt something was missing. However, the people of the land of whirlpools around him all seemed enthusiastic and hard-working. No one was slacking off, because the Senju clan left the day after the war ended. Uzumaki-jun didn't know what punishment the Senju clan would receive, but, if they hadn't left Konoha, their fate would have been sealed long ago. You must know the two founding clans of the ninja village. That name is simply too great, especially the Senju clan, which produced two Kage. Even if they had no ulterior motives towards the village, for the sake of the village's harmonious development, Hiruzen Sarutobi would still take action. Even if Hiruzen Sarutobi didn't, Danzo would presumptuously do so. You must know that the future fate of the Uchiha and Hyuga clans will be the same. Does the Uchiha have ulterior motives? Their grumpy faces are innate. Remember when Madara was young? Because of his grumpy face, even helping a child up would scare the child with his face. So there's nothing they can do about it. But it conveniently gave the village an excuse. Why the sour face? It's dissatisfaction with the village, dissatisfaction with the village chief. It's rebellion, it's disloyalty. Moreover, even if they didn't rebel, they'd probably be forced to, because the destabilizing factors are too great. And the Hyuga clan? The village chief had already warned them, But the Hyuga clan's eldest daughter, the future village chief's wife, was captured, and they actually blamed the Hyuga clan. What did the Hyuga clan do? They were just celebrating the eldest daughter's birthday. How is that wrong? Sigh. It was probably only then that the Hyuga clan realized the truth and quickly backed down, pushing forward the clan chief's brother, thus preventing the village chief from taking action. Otherwise, tisk tisk. What's the point of having disobedient ninjas? In the end, they only dared to vigorously develop their clan after she became the crown princess. So, Konoha's heart isn't broad enough. Always afraid of others seizing power, Tsukumo, Senju, Uchiha, unless you're from the Hokage lineage, it's best not to show off, or you might get killed for no reason. Of course. None of these things have happened yet. And because of the Senju clan's departure, the Uzumaki clan's Earth-style ninjas have instantly halved. Keep in mind that there are only a few dozen Earth-style ninjas in the land of whirlpools. This means the project has been slowed down by half. As expected. Uzumaki soon sighed helplessly, ninjas need diversity. That way, there are more things that can be done. What are you thinking about, Soon-Lee? Kushina asked curiously, seeing Uzumaki Soon's troubled expression. Uzumaki Soon rubbed her head and smiled, nothing. Looking at the cute little girl in front of him, Uzumaki Soon guessed that Minato had no chance, because Kushina would be living happily in the land of whirlpools from now on, and wouldn't have the opportunity to deal with Konoha's petty squabbles. Kushina blushed and made a comfortable face as Uzumaki Soon stroked her head. Uzumaki smiled, looking at Kushina's red hair and flushed cheeks. He seemed to have thought of something. Red slogans for the working class. No wonder he always felt something was missing. How could they work without slogans? Like labor is glorious, creation is great, promote model workers, strive to be pioneers. How could they promote red ideology in the ninja world without these characteristics? It really is cuteness that can stimulate people's thinking. Otherwise, why couldn't he think of them when he saw other people's red hair? Uzumaki soon rubbed Kushina's flushed little face. She was so cute. He decided. He would find some red cloth strips, write on them, and hang them everywhere. This way, they could be subtly influenced, and gradually reduce illiteracy. You know, most civilians in the ninja world are illiterate. He could memorize a few words a day, and after a while, they would understand, right? Phrases like have more children, plant more trees and hard work and innovation are all written on it. Promoting the revolutionary spirit is one aspect, but another is to teach them to read. We can even open a night school for young and middle-aged people. After all, education is part of achieving peace. It also helps with spiritual civilization construction, why not? We must cultivate their ability to endure hardship and their patriotism. But right now, where will the fabric come from? Most of the fabric has been used for warmth, and Kato hasn't returned yet, and the granary is probably running low on food. If nothing unexpected happens in the next couple of days, he should be back. Whirlpool soon said, stroking his chin. He'll have Kato make another trip then, otherwise, what if he grows into a middle-aged, obese, balding, sleazy old man? He needs to exercise while he's young. That way, when your wife goes to square dancing in the future, you'll be the one holding her hand and dancing together, otherwise. Remember this. Uzumaki soon said to Uzumaki Hibiki with a serious expression. This was very important. Whether the land of whirlpools could become powerful in the future depended on whether its spiritual civilization construction could keep up. As for the rest, they'd rely on the system. If the system didn't work, they'd resort to trickery and deception. Anyway, there were quite a few genius scientists in the ninja world whose talents were wasted on ninjas. Yes. Seeing Prince Soon's serious expression, Uzumaki Hibiki knew this matter must be very serious. Although she didn't know the reason, but the war had proven that Prince Soon's decision was correct. Just as Uzumaki Soon was still watching the ninjas and civilians working, the clan elders came up, their faces full of indignation, making Uzumaki Soon very uncomfortable. What was going on? Who had offended them? Elder? Uzumaki Soon asked cautiously. Soon, the elder said earnestly, is there anything we old folks can do? Otherwise, we. Soon looked at them with a puzzled expression. Wasn't it better to be idle? The elders weren't young anymore. They were forced into this during the war, but now, wasn't it their time to rest? These were the treasures of the land of whirlpools. They would be needed to popularize ninja education. It seemed they were a bit bored, getting old, and planning to realize their life's value. to contribute their remaining energy to the land of whirlpools in their final days. Soon frowned, thinking for a moment. If he let the elders go logging or fishing with ordinary people, that wouldn't be good. Would they be supervisors or managers? Their seniority was what it was. Being with ordinary people would only make them uncomfortable. Suddenly, Soon seemed to have an idea. What were these elders best at? These were treasures. Having studied sealing techniques their entire lives, they understood them better than anyone else. If there's something I need your help with. Uzumaki soon directly summoned a scroll. Though it appeared to be summoned, it was actually just taken from his system space, and handed it to the Grand Elder, saying, "Could you inscribe this super light heavy rock technique onto a sealing technique scroll?" The combination of ninjutsu and science might begin with this step. Chapter 3. That's all. This is the last chapter. Chapter 66 Hint. I just checked my previous chapters because I kept getting comments like, "The quotation marks are off-putting, the quotation marks are wrong, author, please change the quotation marks, the author is crazy, even the quotation marks are wrong, the dialogue is outside, the narration is outside, author, please fix it." Actually, I checked them on my computer before, but there didn't seem to be any problems, so I ignored them. But today, when I checked them on my phone, the problems were quite serious. These quotation marks are really. No wonder people are criticizing me, even I can't stand it. I've revised the first 10 chapters, but I haven't looked at the rest, so I don't know how it is. My laptop has been reinstalled, so I can't see any problems on the computer, and I can only view and revise them on my phone. If you still have any problems, please leave a message. I read and reply to almost every message and comment. But for some reason, some comments appear on the computer but not on the phone, or vice versa. Some even take more than 10 hours to appear. It's really, sigh. So please be understanding of a lazy bum like me. And good night. Chapter 67 Combining Science and Ninjutsu. Boruto featured scientific ninja tools, developed by Katasuke, who incorporated scientific power into various ninjutsu via a scientific device. Even those who couldn't use chakra could use these tools, suggesting they had an internal energy source. Otherwise, how could ordinary people use them? To some extent, these scientific tools lowered the social class gap between ninjas and civilians. However, it's unclear how they replenished their chakra. Did they absorb it from the air? If so, the status of ninjas would be truly precarious, potentially leading to their complete disappearance. This is likely why the older generation of ninjas resisted scientific tools. If the Uzumaki Clan hadn't suddenly appeared and their abilities were similar to scientific tools, Naruto probably wouldn't have wanted to develop them anymore, because the village's income was running out. If everyone possessed power, who would be willing to give out missions? Therefore, an alien invasion is a necessary condition for achieving peace. However, these scientific tools were still used in warfare, not liberating ninjas from killing machines to production, but rather eliminating them and turning everyone into a new killing tool. This was not the path Uzumaki-jun wanted to take. Remember, Naruto's saying, "If everyone contributes a little love," didn't include ordinary people, it only restrained ninjas to prevent them from harming civilians in war. But afterwards, ninjas continued doing what they were doing, only refraining from acting rashly because of their village chiefs and the fact that the two overpowered figures in the ninja world were still alive. Otherwise, ninjas would probably have started destroying the scientific tools long ago. This is probably why the clash between the old and new eras occurred later. The conservative faction didn't want to exit the stage too early, while the new faction wanted to seize power quickly, leading to a clash. Therefore, separating civilian and military ninjutsu is an inevitable trend, while simultaneously redefining the important position of ninjas to prevent them from being eliminated by the advent of science. However, this requires the integration of science and chakra. Imprint this super lightweight rock technique onto a sealing scroll, Uzumaki soon said after a moment's thought, so that it can be cast simply by inputting chakra. This would greatly broaden its limitations, allowing even ninjas of other elemental attributes to use it. However, converting chakra into Earth-style chakra isn't so simple. If successful, this super lightweight rock technique could become the engine of an aircraft. Just imprint it on a model airplane, and it would be a real airplane. Adding a limit, how much chakra input determines how high it can rise, an elevator would be complete too. So, the development prospects of chakra as a clean energy source are incredibly vast. Uzumaki soon couldn't understand why no one in the later ninja world used chakra as an energy source, continuing to rely on coal, oil, electricity, and other energy sources. Some even planned to make traditional ninjas a thing of the past. It's such a waste. In that case, the elders whispered amongst themselves. They hadn't tried it before and didn't know if it would succeed. After all, this wasn't a sealing technique, but a complete ninjutsu. To inscribe it on a scroll, ignore chakra attributes, and reuse it, no one in the ninja world had ever done that before. It's alright, let's take it one step at a time, Uzumaki soon said. This might change the future of the land of whirlpools. Even, the future of the ninja world. If all ninjutsu could be inscribed on scrolls like magic, the future of the ninja world might truly allow for exploring the universe and achieving planetary colonization, instead of the current situation where only the strong can travel the cosmos. Uzumaki soon believed it was possible. After all, a future weapons scientist named Feng Zhu, whose talents were wasted on being a ninja, had inscribed ninjutsu on a wrist-sized blade and developed scientific blades. So, it was just a matter of time. However, once this hurdle is overcome, the depiction of other ninjutsu will become much simpler, and the ninja world will definitely experience a leap forward. If it weren't for the temperature limitation of charcoal, Uzumaki-jun would already be making some cement, taking advantage of the winter when everyone is free to build a batch of proper residential houses, so that things won't be so troublesome later. But, the temperature of charcoal can't burn glass or cement, so all of this has to be put on hold. And if fire attribute chakra can be sealed in scrolls and its temperature controlled, then charcoal and all that will be obsolete. Therefore, the miniaturization and sustainable use of ninjutsu are crucial for the future. For now, it's best to stick to the old industrial path. When all elemental ninjutsu can be depicted, then the land of whirlpools will usher in the future of the ninja world, Uzumaki-jun said seriously. He still had to make a promise, otherwise, how could he have the passion to work? And, what if it succeeds? In that case, seeing that soon looked familiar, the clan elders became serious. If that were truly the case, they, as pioneers of the new era, would surely become renowned throughout the ninja world. Then, we will diligently search for a solution. Seeing the clan elders discussing earnestly as they walked, Uzumaki soon nodded in satisfaction. Since the clan elders probably wouldn't have the opportunity for war in the future anyway, they could simply stay in the rear and maintain a deterrent effect. Why not take this opportunity to transform them into research experts? Who knows what surprises awaited them? Then they would be doctors, scholars, and even each would have several students. Tisk tisk. They all look so familiar. Your Highness, soon, the ministers of the Ministry of Works and the Ministry of Food just came to see you, Uzumaki Hibiki said with a headache. We lack food and equipment. Uzumaki's previously thoughtful face immediately fell. He really couldn't stay still for a moment. The equipment was manageable, he could just use ninjutsu. But the food. Winter was approaching, and Uzumaki's food supplies were dwindling, while Gado's hadn't arrived yet. Tell him to come get the equipment later, Uzumaki soon said, rubbing his forehead. As for the food, how long will it last? 3 meals a day, enough until tomorrow night. Hearing Hibiki's words, Uzumaki soon was stunned. Only food for today and tomorrow? No more after that? So fast. He'd stored nearly half a year's worth of food in the cave. And it's only been a little over a month. What happened? Didn't Uzumaki Koki say he'd stored half a year's worth of food? Uzumaki soon frowned. Had someone stolen the food down there? Yes, generally speaking, it is indeed half a year's worth of food. Hibiki Uzumaki said helplessly. But that's 2 meals a day, and because of the consumption of physical strength and chakra, the daily food intake increases, especially for the clansmen. Uzumaki soon nodded knowingly. The benefits of abundant vitality and chakra were obvious, but they weren't without cost, such as a bad temper, a tendency to be easily distracted, and a huge appetite. Especially recently, with so much work, requiring ninjas to participate in production to bridge the generation gap between ninjas and ordinary people. So, working naturally increased their food intake. Should we have them reduce their rations? Hibiki Uzumaki suggested. Sigh. Uzumaki soon sighed and said, it's alright, I guess Gato will be back in the next couple of days. Your Highness, soon, Lord Gato has returned. Chapter 1. Chapter 68. Do you want my treasure? In the woods. Kakuzu leaned against a tree, frowning as he looked at the letter in his hand, muttering, What exactly do the Uzumaki ninja want? Kokuzu was utterly speechless that the Uzumaki ninja had found him through Takegakure. He'd been a traitor to the village for decades, and yet they still sent Takegakure to find him? Did they want him to slaughter them all? Luckily, they were just delivering a message and running away, otherwise. How? Kokuzu rubbed his forehead, looking at the letter the Uzumaki ninja had thrown at him, his head throbbing. All he saw was recruiting the chief financial officer of the land of Uzumaki. What did this mean? He was completely baffled. What did they mean by sincerely recruiting him as the financial manager of the land of Uzumaki, and that salary and benefits would be discussed in person? What was the land of Uzumaki trying to do? Were they trying to recruit him first? Don't be ridiculous, the entire ninja world knows the land of Uzumaki is doomed. What's the point of sending him there now? Are they expecting Kokuzu to serve the land of whirlpools? How could that be? He's a ninja who just surpassed the god of shinobi. A mere small country trying to recruit him? That's a pipe dream. Kokuzu shook his head with a cold laugh. He figured the land of whirlpools had been practically sold off by Konoha. The village didn't have many strong ninja left, and they were trying to find some outside to fill the ranks. But who would go? Kokuzu stared at the recruitment notice in his hand. Going to the land of whirlpools now was practically suicide. Did they think recruiting a few Jonin could solve this? Don't be ridiculous. The land of whirlpools' fate was sealed long ago. A village without a cage-level ninja. They're all just surviving in the cracks. Kokuzu gripped the recruitment notice tightly, gazing at the sky. The weather today, it's so cold. Back then, for the sake of the village's survival, Kokuzu, a mere Jonin, accepted the village's order to fight the god of shinobi. He wasn't afraid, because it was all for the village. He originally thought that after his death, he would become a hero of the village, but he never expected the village chief would betray him out of fear. Do you think there's any leader like that? Seeing things were going wrong, he immediately distanced himself, claiming it had nothing to do with the company and was just his subordinates acting on their own. Fine, whatever, you should at least offer some compensation. Giving nothing and then framing someone, expecting them to selflessly dedicate themselves to the company, is that just wishful thinking? So Kokuzu ousted all those brainless leaders, took his compensation, and started his own business. He just didn't have enough capital. Now, as a freelancer, how could he just find any place to risk his life? Even if you were to find someone, a strongman who had fought the god of shinobi, could a small company really hire someone like him? Kokuzu sneered, continuing to scrutinize the job posting in his hand. He wanted to see what gave the land of whirlpools the confidence to recruit him. Sending a Jonin to recruit someone when the country was on the verge of collapse, what a high price to pay. And, by now, the land of whirlpools was probably finished. Scrolling down the posting. Manage all the finances of the land of whirlpools. Kokuzu froze. All the finances. Actually, small countries have their advantages. For example, the Uzumaki clan are all idiots. Kokuzu stroked his chin, pondering, maybe I should go and see? If the land of whirlpools is destroyed by then, as the treasurer, he has an obligation to recover its assets. If it isn't destroyed, why not do it? It's all money. Uzumaki soon looked at Gato, who had been taken in and escorted back by the Uzumaki ninja, and asked, how did it go? It's done. Gato nodded seriously. Most of it was exchanged for food, a small portion for clothing. Well, thank you for your hard work. Uzumaki soon felt a sense of relief and smiled. No, it's nothing. Gato shook his head and said, if I hadn't met you back then, I probably wouldn't be alive now. Actually, if you hadn't met me, you might have become a shipping tycoon in the ninja world in the future. However, Uzumaki soon didn't say it aloud. Since the other party was grateful, that was fine. He nodded seriously and said, it's just fate. Sigh. Gato sighed and said, the situation outside isn't good either. There are refugees everywhere, and corpses that even the snow can't cover. Hunger and cold pervade the ninja world. A chorus of wails and cries. Gato looked at the hard-working people of the land of whirlpools, a smile appearing on his face, and said, the land of whirlpools is still the best. Hearing Gato's words, Uzumaki soon fell silent. He couldn't do anything for them now, and could only sigh and say, things will get better, the future will be better. Perhaps he would have to prepare to go to Konoha in a few days. By the way, you might need to go out again. Uzumaki soon said with a frown, perhaps this food might not be enough. You know, The Uzumaki clan is a glutton. However, Gato didn't understand. This time, he had prepared enough food for 400,000 people to get through a winter. How could it not be enough? Had the population increased significantly recently? Otherwise, how could there be a food shortage? You'll see soon enough, Uzumaki soon said helplessly. It'll probably be lunchtime soon, and then you'll see how little food we have. It's simply not enough. Hearing Uzumaki Soon's words, Kato frowned and said seriously, but we sold far too much salt this time, and it's already attracted attention. Sigh. Uzumaki Soon sighed. He knew this would happen. Even though Kato sold it to several villages and even purchased supplies separately, if someone with ulterior motives, it definitely wouldn't be able to hide it. But this time, we don't need to sell any more salt, Uzumaki Soon said. We made a fortune a few days ago, that should be enough. As he spoke, he had Uzumaki Hibiki take out the silver sent by Kirigakure. To be fair, Kirigakure, as one of the 5 great ninja villages, still had its reputation. They said 3 days and it was 3 days, not a day late. It's just that the ninja who delivered the money had a rather sour face. He almost got ganged up on by the Uzumaki ninja. Because the treasurer of the Land of Whirlpools hasn't arrived yet, the finances are temporarily in the hands of Hibiki Uzumaki. If Kikuzu doesn't arrive either, the Land of Whirlpools will have to train someone themselves. This money? Kato stared in shock at the pile of silver in front of him, more than he'd sold salt for. Where did it come from? If he remembered correctly, the Land of Whirlpool's treasury was already empty. They couldn't possibly have that much money. And, the war had only just ended. Where did this wealth come from? It was a gift from Kirigakure. Uzumaki-jun gave a rough explanation and then stopped. There was no need to be too explicit. It was best to save face for Kirigakure. After all, if nothing unexpected happened, the position of village head would belong to Mizuki Joy. Sigh. He'd worked so hard to get Mizuki Joy into the village. He wondered if she'd be grateful after becoming a high-ranking official. Just as Uzumaki-jun was lost in thought. Dinner's ready. Chapter 2. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 Lady Miro is about to. The dining hall was managed by a group of middle-aged women from the Land of Whirlpools, or people who couldn't handle heavy lifting. Because of the current communal dining policy, everyone had their own assigned tasks unless there were special circumstances. Seeing that lunch had begun, everyone put down their work, rubbed their hands with some snow, and walked to their respective seats with smiles on their faces. Everything was orderly and without a trace of chaos. Seeing this, Uzumaki soon nodded in satisfaction. It seemed that after a few days, they had all gotten used to it. He led Gato to a seat. Intending to set an example, Uzumaki soon didn't give himself any special treatment. His table was mostly occupied by management, such as Koki, Kai, and Hibiki. They always showed up at mealtimes, and of course, Kushina was also at this table. Nothing's been wrong lately, has anything? Uzumaki soon served Kushina a meal, then took his own and looked at them, asking. As long as the equipment keeps up, there shouldn't be any problems, said the ninja in charge of logging. Most people still don't have axes and saws, so the progress can't be increased at all. He couldn't do anything about it. Uzumaki soon completely ignored him. He was still too young. He really couldn't handle this kind of heavy labor. What if he got too weak? At such a young age, his health was more important. On my side, because there are so few Earth-style ninjas, said the ninja in charge of building houses with a helpless expression. We can only build a few dozen houses a day. For the people of the Land of Whirlpools, it was a drop in the ocean. Gato brought back some tents and clothing. We'll distribute them later, that should solve some of the problems, Uzumaki soon sighed. There's nothing we can do, there are just too few ninjas in the Land of Whirlpools. Even with many shadow clones, one person could act as a work team. But it was still a waste of chakra. Unless he builds a house using ordinary methods instead of ninjutsu, shadow clones are useless. Otherwise, he has no way to build a house, but that method, the current weather doesn't allow it. He can't burn mud and bricks, so how can he build a house without ninjutsu? As for me, recently, due to the weather, food is gradually decreasing, G said with distress. The prey in the land of whirlpools has been almost completely hunted, and as for fish, it's too cold, it's impossible for ordinary people to go to sea to fish. Hearing G's words, Uzumaki soon frowned and thought about it. He had thought about this problem for a long time, but without a sea vessel, fishing at sea in winter is simply impossible. But, if it's a lake, he could cast nets to catch fish. We don't need to go fishing in the sea anymore, Uzumaki soon said with a frown. From now on, we'll fish in the lake. If there were lightning attribute ninjas, fishing in the lake would be convenient, but the Uzumaki clan, unless they are hybrids and develop lightning attribute, they simply don't have any. As for mastering lightning attribute transformations, it's estimated that only he, with his attribute points, could master it immediately. For others, it's simply unrealistic. System, is there a method for fishing with nets in winter? Yes, 100,000. That price. Forget it, I'll exchange it anyway. Uzumaki soon summoned a scroll, of course, it was just something he obtained from the system, and handed it directly to G, saying, try fishing using this method. As for fishing nets, the land of whirlpools has them, just modify them. Meat is still necessary, otherwise, what if his body's development can keep up? Although Uzumaki G was puzzled, he nodded and accepted it. He knew that the method for making charcoal was also proposed by Prince Soon, so this was probably the same. He'd study it later, and if he didn't understand, he'd ask again. As for food, Uzumaki soon looked at the Minister of Food, who was staring expectantly, and said helplessly, Kato brought some, there shouldn't be a food shortage for a while. The Minister of Food nodded in satisfaction. Then, Uzumaki soon turned his head, revealing a helpless look, and looked at Kato. Now you know. This amount of food is simply not enough. Kato nodded seriously, his lips twitching. He hadn't noticed before, but now it seemed, the Uzumaki clan were all a bunch of gluttons. As for Kushina beside him, she sat next to Uzumaki-jun, watching their discussion with curiosity, not interrupting or occasionally taking a bite of food. She stayed quietly, not disturbing their work. As for charcoal, there wasn't a shortage of charcoal recently, but the logging speed in the land of whirlpools was too fast. Who knows, before winter was even over, the land of whirlpools would already be suffering from severe soil erosion. The shamelessness of the first Kazakage back then, not only did he not buy anything, but he also planned to ask for money. If Hirashirama had been sent to plant trees back then, the desertification of Tsunagakure would probably have been improved by now. System, how much reputation is needed for wood release bloodstains? 10 million. WTF. So expensive? Magnet release only costs 3 million. Even bloodstains are different from each other. Sure enough, the God of Shinobi brand is expensive. Can't afford it. I'll have to figure something out later. Uzumaki soon could only give up for now, a sigh escaping his lips. Population. The land of whirlpools needs a huge population. Just enough charcoal to get through the winter is enough, Uzumaki soon said helplessly. He should remind them first, otherwise what if they go crazy making charcoal? Then we'll switch to making other things. Since charcoal isn't hot enough, we won't use charcoal, we'll use ninjas. It'll be tiring, but we don't need too many right now, and gaining experience is good. And it'll be convenient to make windows later, and we can sell them to nobles in other countries. They should like them. Not only will it benefit the nobles, but it will also generate tax revenue. Why not? And, if the land of whirlpools wants to become a trading center, it must have some special skills of its own. Yes. Although he didn't know what Prince Soon wanted to change to, he still nodded in agreement. Let's eat first. Soon said, his stomach growling after being busy for so long. Yes. Konoha. A 7-year-old cage-level ninja. Hirozen Sarutobi smoked, looking at the information reported by the ninja below. As for the unreasonable information mentioned above, such as Genjutsu Ozuki believing that Konoha had cheated them and demanding compensation, he ignored it. The person was already dead, and they still wanted money? They must be dreaming. Moreover, Konoha hadn't sent anyone to support them, it was all the Senju clan's doing. Lord Hashirama wasn't this strong back then. Hirozen Sarutobi sighed. If nothing unexpected happened, he would probably become the next god of shinobi. We absolutely cannot let him grow stronger. Danzo said with a sinister look. Do you need me to? No. Hirozen Sarutobi shook his head. He wanted to do the same, but he knows space-time ninjutsu. Capturing him would be too troublesome. HMPH. Danzo snorted coldly. Even if you have space-time ninjutsu, as long as... What do you want to do? Hiruzen Sarutobi frowned and said sharply. This is peacetime. Don't do anything reckless. They're all those useless trash from Kirigakure. Danzo ignored his friend's words and sneered. Such trash can be called one of the 5 great shinobi villages. Let's put this matter aside for now. Maybe things aren't so bad. Hiruzen Sarutobi said helplessly, taking a drag of his cigarette. Not so bad? How? Danzo grinned menacingly. Remember, Lord Miro is about to... sigh. Hiruzen Sarutobi sighed. I'll figure something out. What about the Senju clan? Hiruzen Sarutobi raised his head, looking at Danzo silently. He knew what Danzo was thinking, but, the Senju clan were the descendants of the first and second Hokage. He didn't want to go too far. However, Danzo looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi with a sinister expression. A ninja who disobeys orders is worthless. Chapter 3. By the way, I'd like to mention something here. I believe everyone has started working or going to school. If I'm saying this, you've probably guessed it. Yes, this is what I want to say. In a few days, I'll be starting an internship, and my thesis graduation project isn't finished yet. I need to finish it during this time, so I'll be updating at night, back to 2 chapters, a minimum of 4,000 words. Of course, if possible, I'll update more. Finally, please give me some recommendation votes. Chapter 70, Preparing to go to Konoha. Today's work is done. Looking at the thousands of axes and saws neatly arranged before him, Uzumaki soon sighed inwardly and slumped down, leaning on a stool. It had to be said, although making tools repeatedly was tiring, his chakra control had improved. At least, he could now carve patterns on the axes. The tools I made these past few days should be enough. Uzumaki glanced at the tools. After so many days, the tools should be sufficient, since not everyone was logging, most had other tasks. Gato had gone out raiding a few days ago, and the other leaders had gotten used to their respective tasks. Everything was proceeding smoothly. As for his mother, she was already leading some ninjas to provide ninja education to the children, including some orphans left over from the war. Uzumaki soon decided that his mother would be the first Minister of Education of the Land of Whirlpools. If possible, she could also serve as the director of an orphanage. He'd have to ask her opinion later. And his father? He cheerfully became a minor manager, leading a group of civilians and ninjas in their work, seemingly quite enthusiastic about it. Currently, there are still too few medical ninjas. Even though some clansmen possess immense vitality like Xiangzi, there are still too few Uzumaki clan members truly passionate about medical ninjas. Most prefer hand-to-hand combat. I'll have to select a group from the children later. Uzumaki soon rubbed his forehead. The current medical ninjas of the Land of Whirlpools are already struggling to care for the country's citizens, let alone the refugees. These people have suffered a major disaster abroad. Many will undoubtedly experience health problems. The need for medical ninjas will likely be even greater then, so for now, he can only find some willing children and teach them basic first aid, so that they won't be left out in the cold. They've also learned the glass-making method and the winter fishing method, Uzumaki soon pondered. The winter fishing method was alright. At first, he wasn't used to it and didn't know how to detect fish through the ice. But, some Uzumaki clan members possess extraordinary sensory abilities, practically walking fish detectors. So, with a few sensory ninjas, they can usually return with a full catch. Uzumaki soon estimated that if they built huge fishing boats and took sensory ninjas out to sea, the harvest would be even more considerable. They could probably sell the fish and make a fortune. As for the glass-making method, due to limitations, the production was far too small, and it was ugly too. What if I let Gato use it to sell to nobles? I wonder if that would work? Uzumaki soon stroked his chin, thinking. Gato had also brought back some well-made products this time. If they sold well, perhaps the Land of Whirlpools would have its own unique products in the early stages. As for food, they also exchanged some recipes for Earth's delicacies, such as oil splash noodles, knife-cut noodles, spicy oil noodles, dandan noodles, and zhajang noodles, basically all noodle dishes, to see how popular they are. If it works, they could promote food culture in the ninja world. However, the elders' research on scrolling and reusing ninjutsu hasn't made any progress yet, so they're almost going crazy. Just a few days ago, They were asking about their magnet release, amazed that a young child could synthesize bloodstains. Acting like they wanted to update the land of whirlpools, adding magnet release to their massive chakra. They practically searched every little girl in the Uzumaki clan of similar age. Uzumaki-jun was stunned. These elders have gone mad, wanting the Uzumaki clan to become powerful. They'll do anything. They even came up with the idea of kidnapping bloodstains from other villages. This might just start the second shinobi world war from the land of whirlpools. If his mother hadn't punched them all awake, they might still be fantasizing about the glorious future of the Uzumaki clan. Getting bloodstains is easy, isn't it? He can develop the population, pull off a series of clever maneuvers, and make them all worship him. Then all the bloodstains he needs will appear, right? No need for human trafficking. Besides, the ninja world needs sustainable development, and bloodstains are indispensable. Otherwise, resources will eventually run out. Only bloodstains can allow the ninja world to continue its unscientific development. For example, the current glass, if there were crystal release, wouldn't the situation be much better? Therefore, the question of how are bloodstains generated, will definitely be included in the research of the Science Research Institute in the future. As for now, the Science Research Institute doesn't even exist yet, so what's there to research? Of course, seeing a group of clan elders burning the midnight oil, Uzumaki soon couldn't bear it and gave them a hint. Perhaps it doesn't necessarily have to be inscribed on paper. For example, inscribed on metal or machinery would be good too. Isn't that what future scientific ninjutsu will be like? Also, the improved flying thunder god techniques ninja seals are also inscribed on specially made kune, aren't they? Just imagine, if they want a gas stove later, they can just make a gas stove appliance, then engrave fire attribute ninjutsu marks and temperature regulating marks on it, and that's it. As for gas, if commoners don't have chakra, they can just buy chakra scrolls when they run out. That's a way to get rich too. You know, selling energy is quite profitable. It's just that simplifying the ninjutsu patterns is a bit troublesome. I guess the future Minato will understand a bit about that. After all, he's the one who changed the flying thunder god technique seal into the sword of love. For now, let the clan elders study it first. Haven't you seen how they're gradually developing the spirit of researchers? They've even learned to stay up all night researching technology. As for the country now, since I no longer have to worry about managing it, things have gradually become easier lately. It's just that every time I use the sand gold axe and sand gold saw ninjutsu, I feel a bit drained and need to replenish myself. Hibiki, everything's done, come in and get it, Uzumaki soon called out helplessly. Whoosh! Hibiki Uzumaki entered using her teleportation technique and respectfully said, Your Highness, you've worked hard. It's nothing. Uzumaki soon waved his hand and said, Where's Kushina? Why haven't I seen her today? She's usually always following behind him. Young Miss went to the queens. Hibiki Uzumaki said. What's she doing there? Uzumaki soon asked curiously. There were only a group of kindergarten teachers and children there. Did she go to play with children her own age? Young Miss went to help the queen take care of the children. Huh? Hearing Hibiki Uzumaki's words, Uzumaki soon was stunned. He stroked his chin and muttered, could this girl be planning to contribute to the land of whirlpools? But this girl, won't she become the school bully? Hearing Prince Soon's words, Hibiki Uzumaki opened her mouth as if to say something, but ultimately remained silent. She sighed inwardly, thinking, she's a little unhappy about the princess getting close to a girl named Hibiki Uzumaki lately. But then she thought, this was Prince Soon's family matter, and she shouldn't meddle. Otherwise, the young lady and the princess's fists were not to be trifled with. They might say something inappropriate, and she'd be spending the whole winter in bed. Tell the clan leader and the elder to come to the meeting room later, Uzumaki soon said, stretching. It's time to go to Konoha. Now that everything was ready, it was time to recruit. Taking advantage of this period after the war to recruit more people was a good idea, especially since he also planned to visit Mito Uzumaki, that legendary woman of Konoha. They must be almost at their breaking point by now. But what would happen to Ninetales without the Uzumaki clan? Use it as a Pokemon? That would be truly tragic. If Kurama, the Ninetales, hadn't been persuaded by Naruto's persuasive words, its first act upon emerging would have been to destroy Konoha. As for why it went to Konoha instead of recruiting refugees from other ninja villages, is that even a question? Konoha naturally possesses an aura that attracts talented refugees. The chances of encountering geniuses would be higher in Konoha. Yes, Hibiki Uzumaki respectfully replied. Chapter 1. Chapter 71. This kind of life is really great. Night fell. Because Gato had brought back a batch of tents, the citizens of the land of whirlpools were reassigned to new housing. The elderly lived in stone houses, while the younger ones moved into tents. However, because there was still too little space, each tent was cramped, making it very easy to catch a cold. Uzumaki Koki patrolled his assigned area as usual. Everyone was exhausted after a day's work, and they basically fell asleep as soon as they lay down on their beds. Satisfied, he looked at the tents. Although he didn't know why Prince Sun had sent them to patrol and take care of these civilians, otherwise they would get cold, he knew that as a ninja, he would carry out any order seriously. Seeing a boy kick off his blanket, Uzumaki Koki rubbed his temples but still went over to cover him up, whispering, "No wonder there have been so many colds lately. No ninja body, and still kicking off the blanket. Isn't that just asking for trouble?" The medical ninjas had been busy all day because of these colds, and they had even started warning the civilians to take care of themselves and stay warm. Scanning the entire tent and seeing that everyone was covered up, Uzumaki tossed a few more pieces of charcoal into the stove to prevent it from going out in the middle of the night. That way, we shouldn't catch a cold tonight. However, he also had to be mindful of what Prince Sun had said about poisoning and suffocation. These would be assessed soon, and if he lost, he'd be too ashamed to face his colleagues. So, Uzumaki also checked that the stove's vents weren't blocked before carefully stepping out. He didn't notice a boy who wasn't asleep at all, secretly watching the scene. Finally, watching the whirlpool leave, a smile appeared on his face, and he murmured softly, "This feeling is really good." "Shin? What's wrong?" His companion, seemingly woken by Shin's movements, rubbed his eyes and said, "Why are you still awake so late? And be careful when you turn over, it's so cold." Sorry. Shin apologized, quickly pulling the blanket tighter, then asked curiously, "What do you think of this kind of life?" "It's great." His companion yawned, saying impatiently, 3 meals a day, and me too, I've never experienced anything like this. "So, do you have any goals?" "Goals?" His companion turned away impatiently, saying, "No. I just want to sleep now." Seeing his companion ignoring him, Shin shook his head helplessly, pulled the blanket over his head, and muttered softly, "My goal is to become a manager. Then I definitely won't let you eat." "He's ignoring me." "Humph, Zemu." Seeing Zemu emerge, Uzumaki yawned and asked, "How are you?" "Everything's fine," Zemu nodded. "You look tired." "Of course I'm tired," Uzumaki rubbed his arms. Fishing is such a hassle. Although Prince Sun's method increased their catch several times over, there are still too few people. Seeing Kai's expression, Uzumaki Koki shook his head and smiled helplessly. "I heard there have been a lot of ninja spies from other villages lately. Hopefully nothing bad has happened." "That area is under Sauda's jurisdiction," Kai said as he walked alongside Koki. "They've captured several recently, from every village. They basically sealed their chakra and threw them out." "What a waste." Uzumaki Koki sighed. "If we had so many ninjas, things would be much easier." "That's true," Kai said. His Highness Jun also said it was a waste. But he's worried other villages will use it as an excuse to cause trouble, so now he has no choice but to throw them out. The land of whirlpools can't afford any more war now, sigh. Hearing Kai's words, Uzumaki Koki gazed at the night sky of the land of whirlpools and murmured, "I hope the land of whirlpools can become even stronger." Of course, Kai yawned and said, "His Highness Jun will be going to Konoha tomorrow." "Are you going?" "His Highness Suna needs me to watch over the land of whirlpools, worried that someone might come to cause trouble." Zemu shook his head and said helplessly, "You want to come with me?" "Yes." Ji said, "It's the clan elder's request, that I must protect His Highness soon." Hearing Ji's words, Zemu was silent for a moment, and finally, he opened his mouth and said, "Everything. I'll leave it to you." "Of course." Whirlpool Ji said with a yawn as if it were a matter of course, "Kigakure. Has the Jinchuriki plan already begun?" Mizuki Joy asked, squinting. "This is now the village's most important task. It's already underway," a Junin nodded, "but it hasn't succeeded yet. Without the Uzumaki clan's chakra, becoming a Jinchuriki isn't so simple," Joy sighed, helplessly. "Take it slow, let the sealing team find a sealing method suitable for Kigakure. What the land of whirlpools offered might not be suitable for us. If it still doesn't work, then we'll really have to." "Yes." Upon hearing the Mizukage's order, the Jonin quickly and respectfully responded, then opened his mouth, seemingly wanting to say something. Is there anything else to report? Joy asked, frowning. Although he had narrowed eyes, he wasn't blind. Speak quickly if you have something to say. Do you intend to hide it from the village? The people below seemed to have a lot of complaints about the Jinchuriki, because, the Jonin said cautiously, glancing at the Mizukage, so many children died. Hearing the Jonin's words, Mizuki Joy paused for a moment, then sighed and said, this is a necessary step to succeed. There are so many refugees outside now, let's see if there are any with ninja talent. If there are. At this point, Mizuki Joy stopped speaking. Yes. The Jonin nodded understandingly. Since there were discontents within the village, then, go look outside. Although it was cruel, it was all worthwhile for the village's development. Any recent activity from other ninja villages? Mizuki Joy asked. Although he had become the village chief as he wished, the village hadn't recovered from the losses of the previous term, and he didn't want to be overtaken by others in this short time. We received intelligence from spies that the other ninja villages have all acquired the sealing techniques of the Land of Whirlpools, the Jonin reported. They're now starting to test the Jinchuriki program. As for the Land of Whirlpools, nothing special, still logging and building houses. It seems the Land of Whirlpools is also having a tough time because of this war. Hearing the Jonin's words, Mizuki Joy paused for a moment, then waved her hand and said, don't give up on gathering intelligence. Go now. Yes, the Jonin said respectfully. Lord Mizukage, get some rest. Chapter 2. Chapter 72 Naruto figurines. Early morning. Today is another cold day. Soon looked around as everyone gradually came out to prepare for work, especially the slogans hanging on the trees and tents. Labor is glorious, creation is great. No work today, no hunger tomorrow. Labor warms the body, empty words chill the heart. And the red banners. He nodded in satisfaction. It really looked much better this way. This not only motivated the people to work but also promoted literacy education, why not? Especially seeing their captains leading their teams and chanting slogans every morning, it felt really inspiring. If a military academy were established, then shed blood and sweat, but not tears, lose skin and flesh, but not fall behind. They could hang those slogans inside the academy, gradually changing everything to something familiar. That would be great too. After chanting their slogans, everyone enthusiastically followed their leaders to their assigned eating spots, and soon was also preparing to finish breakfast before heading to Konoha. Because it was winter, the roads were difficult to travel, so they decided to set off early. The Land of Whirlpools only had 3 large ships left by Gato. Going there wouldn't be a problem, but bringing back too many people would likely cause trouble. Therefore, Uzumaki-jun planned to send the refugees over in several batches, and also arranged for the ninjas in the Land of Whirlpools to be prepared to receive them. Of course, all of this wouldn't happen on the return trip, but would begin on the way to Konoha. That's why he planned to bring more ninjas, having them make several trips in the waters near the Land of Whirlpools to bring the refugees to the Land of Whirlpools. As for him, after settling things, he would go directly to Konoha with Kai, thus saving too much time. The Land of Whirlpools still lacks so much? Uzumaki-jun thought to himself. As an island nation, even buying ships from others was truly shameful, so, the development of the shipbuilding industry was crucial. Moreover, they need to bring quite a lot of things this time, such as food, coal, and glass. Oops, glass. It should be called glass, that name sounds much more upscale. The food and coal are for the refugees while they wait. After all, you have to give them some hope. If you don't offer anything, how can they believe you? Especially food, it's the most reassuring thing during a disaster. As for the glass, it's for building relationships, bribing Konoha, and then borrowing land near the Land of Whirlpools from the village chief to settle the refugees. Uzumaki-jun believed that if these 3 statues were smashed, that old guy Hirozen Sarutobi would probably happily agree. After all, those are statues of the first, second, and third Hokage of Whirlpools. Especially the third one, even bigger, even more majestic. You have to know that these were sculpted by the chief sculptor of the Land of Whirlpools using glass. If it weren't for Hibiki saying so, Uzumaki-jun, who had lived here for so many years, wouldn't have known that the Land of Whirlpools had a master sculptor. So, after finding him and seeing his work, Uzumaki appointed him as the chief sculptor of the Land of Whirlpools, and even passed on some of his sculpting experience from Earth to him. Perhaps, selling figurines, cough, statues should make a fortune. This time, transporting the refugees will probably require several trips. If so many people are led by the Whirlpool Ninja and stay within the Land of Fire, who knows what the Hokage might think. So, it's best to make things clear, otherwise, what if they use it as an excuse to cause trouble? The Land of Whirlpools is a civilized country. A country that understands civilization and politeness. They don't beat people up randomly, even if they do, there's a reason. So, it's better to lay everything out in the open. As for if the Dark Ninja insists on causing trouble, even if people die, it's not the Land of Whirlpool's problem. Because they've already said that. Your Highness, everything is ready, Uzumaki Kai said respectfully. He was going to Konoha as His Highness's bodyguard, to cover His Highness's retreat should things go wrong, allowing His Highness to escape. Although he thought His Highness was so powerful and knew space-time ninjutsu, how could they possibly need him? But, when it came to His Highness, everything required utmost care, because he was the hope of the Land of Whirlpools. Yes. Uzumaki Kai nodded and said, after breakfast, we'll set off. And have you remembered what I said? Those who are obedient, the Land of Whirlpools will accept them. Those who cause trouble, the Land of Whirlpools will not accept them. They'll be sent to the sidelines. Also, tell the ninjas not to bully these refugees. Uzumaki-jun looked at Uzumaki-ji and said seriously, making sure nothing went wrong when recruiting refugees. Especially if there are ninjas among them, be careful. Make it clear to them that the Land of Whirlpools will seal their chakra for a period of time, and it will be released if they do nothing to harm the Land of Whirlpools. Also, recruiting them doesn't make them citizens of the Land of Whirlpools immediately. Their treatment must be different from that of citizens of the Land of Whirlpools, but they can't be left hungry or cold. Make sure they understand the appropriate balance. They need to maintain the advantages of the citizens of the Land of Whirlpools and give the refugees some hope so they will work diligently. Yes. Uzumaki Kai nodded seriously, knowing the gravity of the situation. I'll remind the ninjas below. Also, remember not to let the refugees gather together, separate them and stuff them into the civilian population. Understood. Satisfied to see Uzumaki Kai understand, he began eating his breakfast. He had originally planned to take Kushina with him, perhaps they could get something from Mito Uzumaki. But Kushina refused with a mysterious look on her face. What was she doing with her mother? What was she looking at like that? Everything in the Land of Whirlpools is in the hands of the clan head. Uzumaki-jun rubbed his forehead, looking at the clan head, and said, we absolutely cannot let anything happen to the Land of Whirlpools. If any ninjas cause trouble, just kill them. Uzumaki-sun's expression hardened. We must ensure the stability of the Land of Whirlpools before anything else can proceed. I know, the clan chief nodded, then asked worriedly, are you sure we don't need to bring more people? After all, Konoha. Don't worry. Uzumaki-sun shook his head. I'll be fine. No one can hurt me. If he brought too many people, would he just run away or protect them? It was too much trouble. Hearing Uzumaki-sun's words, the clan chief agreed. After all, he had just overcome the tailed beasts. If nothing unexpected happened, who could destroy him? Thinking of this, he agreed. Smiling as he said, I will keep an eye on everything in the Land of Whirlpools, and your father will also help take care of it. You know, he used to be the daimyo of the Land of Whirlpools. He knew that. He also knew that the Land of Whirlpools hadn't made any progress under his father's leadership. And wasn't his father doing a great job managing things? These past few days I've been eating and sleeping with him. If Mom hadn't known, she might have really thought Dad had found someone else. Uzumaki-sun nodded. As long as there's no large-scale invasion, the Land of Whirlpools shouldn't have any problems, except, due to current limitations, opening a factory is impossible. Hopefully, the elders will have made some progress when they return. If not, he'll have to stick to traditional industry for now. Chapter 3. Today is Valentine's Day, and I believe most of those reading novels are single. Of course, the author is too. So we're all reading novels together. What if we get hurt while we're out here amidst the chaos of war? Chapter 73. The Land of Whirlpools Company officially recruits talent. Oh, Lord Madara, you're awake. An old man with white hair and a weathered face struggled to raise his right hand to his mouth, coughing. Then, he slowly opened his cloudy eyes, staring at the figure before him, entirely white, its body forming a swirling, regular pattern. Toby. Madara looked at his increasingly aged body, now struggling to move. He paused for a moment, then his aged voice rang out, "How long have I been asleep? Oh, Lord Madara, let me see, let me see." Toby, hearing Madara's words, jumped excitedly onto a wall and said, "One scratch represents a year. Let me count how many there are." Oh, Lord Madara, there are 100. Madara fell silent again upon hearing Toby's words, finally sighing and saying, "Has 100 years passed? How is the land of whirlpools now?" "The land of whirlpools?" Toby was taken aback and said, "Nothing's wrong. They have a 7-year-old cage-level fighter who beat the Hidden Mist village to pulp. Lord Madara, should we recruit?" "Oh, Lord Madara, I misread it. This is where it records how long Lord Madara has been asleep." Toby suddenly spoke cautiously, "That's just the number of times I have pooped. This way, Lord Madara has only been asleep for 3 years. Madara, looking exasperated, rubbed his forehead and said, "Where's my willpower? This idiot." He didn't want to see him at all right now. Otherwise, his old body might be finished. "Oh, Mr. Zetsu?" Toby ignored Madara's distress and said directly, "It seems he went to monitor the land of whirlpools." "The land of whirlpools wasn't destroyed?" Madara said with melancholy when he heard Toby's words, "A 7-year-old cage level. Back then, Hashirama and I were not that strong. Lord Madara, should you?" Toby made a throat-slitting gesture and said, "Kill him." "Can you beat him?" Madara glanced at him and said indifferently. Toby paused for a moment, then chuckled sheepishly, "Mr. Zetsu might have a way." Madara decided to ignore him, saying helplessly, "Have Zetsu quickly find someone who can bear the weight of my eyes. As for the others, don't worry about them now. That 7-year-old child. If he doesn't agree, find an opportunity to kill him. The ninja world absolutely cannot allow any accidents to occur." "Yes, Lord Madara." After watching this goofball leave, Uchiha Madara opened his bewildered eyes and murmured, "I wonder how much longer I can hold on." The alliance between Hashirama and the Uzumaki clan back then, Konoha is now beginning to forget. Time really can fade everything. Whether it's people, or bonds. "Hashirama. I will tell you, my method is the correct one. The ninja world has long been corrupt. Only by starting anew can the ninja world achieve true peace." Achoo, achoo. Uzumaki-jun, covered with several layers of blankets, lay on the deck, yawning, rubbing his nose, and muttering, "Is Mom thinking of me? Hiss. This weather is really cold. Your Highness-jun, we're almost there." Uzumaki Kai stood beside Jun and said respectfully, "Almost there?" Uzumaki-jun also stood up, stretched, and said, "Have the men below tidy up their appearance. They must look as energetic as possible. I didn't expect it to be so fast." No wonder that poor place, the land of waves, wanted to build a bridge to Konoha back then. It was probably because the road was short, cheap, and cost-effective. "Yes." Uzumaki Kai nodded. "And remember to take that recruitment sign I made out too," Soon said. "We're here to recruit people, not to kidnap children. Make sure they laugh a lot." Hearing Prince Soon's words, Ji paused for a moment, then nodded. Just thinking about the recruitment sign Prince Soon had made left him speechless. It was just too embarrassing, and, did Prince Soon think those refugees could read? But remembering it was Prince Soon's order, they still carried it out diligently. "Yes." Uzumaki Soon nodded and said, "After disembarking, find a place to start cooking porridge, set up relief points to wait for the refugees, and send ninjas to patrol the surrounding area to ensure they all go to the relief points. Also, remember to make sure the medical ninjas work hard." "Yes." Uzumaki-ji nodded, thought for a moment, and said, "If the Konoha ninjas." Uzumaki Soon thought for a moment and said, "Tell them clearly. We have a long-standing friendship with Konoha, and we are here to help the refugees within Konoha's territory." A long-standing friendship. Uzumaki-ji was already used to Prince Soon saying this, nodded, and said, "Understood." Whenever someone wanted to take advantage of Konoha, Prince Soon would use this phrase. It's just that they probably want to kill the Uzumaki clan now, considering what happened with Kirigakure. I'll have my men be careful not to clash with the Konoha ninjas. Anyway, Konoha has taken so many advantage of them over the years, what's wrong with getting a little return now? And Konoha can't possibly take in so many refugees, so we, the land of whirlpools, are doing a good deed. Remember, Troublemakers, those with criminal records, don't take them, but send them some rations and let them go to Konoha. Uzumaki-jun thought for a moment and said, tell them that Konoha is a place full of love and harmony, and will accept them. Uzumaki Kai was speechless upon hearing Lord Jun's words, and cautiously said, Is this alright? It's fine, we're recruiting talent for Konoha. You know, troublemakers are all capable people. What if they were not capable? Konoha will kill them. Yes. In the end, Uzumaki Kai nodded. Sending people to Konoha? As for whether they'll be accepted, what does that have to do with the land of whirlpools? And just then, Lord Jun, I've seen Konoha ninjas. A Jonin ran over respectfully and said, a 7-year-old cage-level ninja. Mito Uzumaki held the intelligence report in her hand, a slight smile playing on her lips as she murmured, it seems the land of whirlpools won't perish. As a member of the Uzumaki clan, she desperately wanted to help the land of whirlpools, but she was too old. Now, the land of whirlpools had produced a cage-level ninja, and a 7-year-old one at that. She believed the land of whirlpools would grow stronger. So many years. Mito Uzumaki shook her head, a look of reminiscence on her face. I wonder how Hashirama is doing down there? That fool. He must be doing quite well. He must have made many new friends. Because that's the kind of person he is. Someone who makes people want to be close to him and trust him for no reason. And it's been so long since I've seen Hashirama. I wonder if he misses me? Mito Uzumaki smiled, her eyes filled with longing, and murmured, Konoha. I've been taking care of you all this time, but I might be going to see you soon, Hashirama. Just then, Mito Uzumaki's maid interrupted her reverie, respectfully saying, Lady Mito, the Hokage requests an audience. Mito Uzumaki was silent for a moment, then sighed and said helplessly, let the little monkey in. Chapter 1. Chapter 74. Do you want to dance? Uzumaki soon was unaware that he had been targeted by old Madara. If he had known, he would have immediately agreed, as if to say, I've decided to follow you. He could simply send his uniform and work permit here when his underlings created the Akatsuki. He wondered who would be the gang leader in a megacure, a place Nagato hadn't yet visited. Could it be Tobi? That would be truly tragic. As for why he was so cowardly, well, Madara is a ruthless man who calmly danced even when facing an attack from tens of thousands. He'd grab anyone and ask, want to dance? You can dance too? You think you can dance? An old dancer like Madara was not to be trifled with. In the early stages, he and Madara didn't have any conflicts. As for the later stages, he'd be fully developed. Why would he care about Madara? He, Uzumaki soon, might be the one to save the ninja world. Madara would probably be crippled by Zetsu's schemes, and the Sage of Six Paths would probably be completely bewildered. He'd lived a life of hardship, all to pave the way for his son, Naruto and Sasuke, to lead the ninja world and guide it towards the future. But now, what's going on? Who exactly is this Uzumaki soon? Maybe the Sage of Six Paths will appear and beg him not to act, letting his son gain prestige and lead the ninja world into the future. But at that time, who cares about all this nonsense? You see, the socialist path he wants to take is different from the ninja path they, the ninja class, want to follow. Who knows, class struggle might break out. But all reactionaries are paper tigers. Under the tide of socialism, they will all be reduced to ashes. Uzumaki soon has the confidence and ability to forge a socialist path for the ninja world. After all, he's been indoctrinated with communism for over 20 years, and he has the cheat code of the system. This guy might not be good at other things, but he's quite good at printing books. After Uzumaki-jun disembarked, the Konoha ninja in charge approached and said, Lord Jun. Narashikasa had already received intelligence from the Hokage. This red-haired child before him was the one who led the land of whirlpools to victory, a 7-year-old cage level. That's terrifying, Narashikasa thought to himself. Yes. Uzumaki-jun nodded and asked, and you are? Narashikasa, the person in charge this time, Narashikasa replied. As expected. Uzumaki-jun looked at Narashikasa expressionlessly. His dejected aura was immediately apparent. He was indeed a member of the Nara clan, a Konoha herbal medicine tycoon, raising deer for Konoha for generations, mainly selling antlers. On Earth, this would have been shut down by the authorities several times over. Should we go to Konoha now or? Narashikasa asked lazily. The war was over, yet the higher-ups were still keeping him on the border. What a hassle. Finally, he could go back. No, let's go in a few days. Uzumaki soon shook his head and said with a smile, "We need to rent a place from the land of fire." Whoosh! Narashikase immediately became serious upon hearing Uzumaki Soon's words. What was he planning to do by renting land? Was he going to cause trouble? Don't be nervous. Uzumaki Soon smiled. The Uzumaki clan and Konoha have been friends for generations. We won't do anything to harm Konoha. Then you are. Narashikase, of course, wasn't going to be convinced by just a few words. He still asked warily, "What are you renting the place for?" As for the Uzumaki clan's generations-long friendship with Konoha, he ignored that statement. The Konoha leadership knew that was a joke. As for the land of whirlpools, having been tricked so badly, they must understand now. Who knows what they're thinking, cursing Konoha for being heartless. Of course we're hiring. Uzumaki-jun waved his hand, signaling the ninjas below to bring up the recruitment sign, and said, "The land of whirlpools suffered devastating losses in the war. There aren't many people left in the country, 9 out of 10 houses are empty. You have no idea, going out at night is really terrifying." Hearing Uzumaki-jun's words, Narashikase rolled his eyes. Did he think Konoha was blind? Although the spies sent to the land of whirlpools were all discovered, they still brought back news, albeit at a heavy loss. What a joke. Turning his head to look at the sign, he saw it read, "The land of whirlpools is now recruiting several workers. Whether you have a skill or not, as long as you come to the land of whirlpools, you will find your own value 1. Those who abide by the law, have good character, and have no criminal record will be given priority 2. Those with a skill will be given priority 3. Those who are literate will be given priority. Want to find your place? If so, come to the land of whirlpools. Here you will definitely find your dreams. Note, food and accommodation are provided, salaries negotiable." Finally, there was the Uzumaki clan crest. Could it really be a recruitment drive? Seeing the words, Narashikase was speechless. It was written so clearly. "I need to ask the Hokage about this," Narashikase said after thinking for a moment, but he should agree. After all, there are too many refugees in the land of fire now. If it's not handled properly, who knows what kind of trouble might arise. Now that someone is recruiting, it's a solution. But, we still need to be wary of the land of whirlpool's little tricks. Of course, Uzumaki-jun smiled. "Uzumaki-kai, bring up our rent money." "Yes." Uzumaki-kai replied respectfully, then nervously took the tightly wrapped, high-end box that was brought up below, and carefully opened it like a pilgrim. Seeing the expressions of the Uzumaki clan, Narashikase was immediately curious. It seemed to contain something very valuable. Suddenly, the moment Uzumaki-kai opened it, the Konoha ninja were stunned. This. Narashikase pointed in shock at the crystal-clear statue, saying, "The first Hokage, the second Hokage, the third Hokage." Seeing the Konoha ninja's unsuspecting expressions, Uzumaki-jun nodded in satisfaction. It seemed Uzumaki-kai had a real talent for acting. This guy already knew how glass appeared, and he could still act so convincingly. Maybe he could get Uzumaki-kai to switch from ninja to actor. After all, a second career as a ninja is inevitable. "This is glass discovered within the land of whirlpools," Uzumaki-jun said with a reluctant expression. "It's rare, so I had my men select the finest pieces and commission the land of whirlpool's chief sculptor to meticulously craft this piece." The Konoha ninjas exchanged glances, and finally, Narashikase sighed, saying, "This is too precious. No, this was sculpted in our admiration for the Hokage's contributions to the peace of the ninja world," Uzumaki-jun said with adoration. "Especially Lord Hashirama and Lord Tobirama. They sacrificed so much for the peace of the ninja world, they deserve our utmost respect. Then why is the third Hokage's statue the largest and most imposing?" Narashikase looked at the third Hokage's statue, opened his mouth, but ultimately said nothing. As ninjas, it's best not to be so curious. Let the higher-ups handle their affairs. The Nara clan's way of survival is to be as lazy as possible. I will have someone deliver your request and gift to the Hokage. As for the outcome, it may take some time. Of course. Uzumaki-sun's eyes lit up, and he smiled. It seemed the matter was resolved. And what follows? Chapter 2. Chapter 3 might be a little late. Chapter 75 wasn't given to me. I don't agree. What do you all think? Hiruzen Sarutobi rested his chin on his hands, looking thoughtfully at the Konoha high-ranking officials before him, and asked in a serious tone, "Should we lease it to the land of whirlpools to recruit refugees? A silence fell over the meeting as everyone pondered, seemingly wondering what kind of conspiracy the Land of Whirlpools might be plotting. I think it's feasible, Kaoru Utatane finally said, frowning. There are already too many refugees in the Land of Fire, and with the war just ended, the ninja world is full of refugees. Furthermore, according to reports from the ninja below, most of the refugees are heading towards Konoha. Indeed, Konoha's peace policy in recent years has been correct. Haven't you seen how everyone is willing to come to Konoha instead of other villages? You must know that Konoha carries the ideals of Lord Hashirama and has consistently made significant contributions to the peace of the ninja world. It is the vanguard of peace in the ninja world. Konoha simply cannot accommodate so many refugees. Once these refugees gather together, chaos is inevitable, Kaoru Utatane said, looking at Hiruzen Sarutobi. If the Land of Whirlpools could accept some of the refugees, it would benefit Konoha. I agree with Kaoru, Hamura Mutakato nodded. Indeed, too many refugees will cause chaos, and things will become difficult. In that case. Seeing everyone in agreement, Hiruzen Sarutobi took a puff of his pipe, about to agree, when. No, I disagree, Danzo said in a deep voice. The Land of Whirlpools could not possibly be simply recruiting refugees, they must have some ulterior motive. Order your ninjas to bring them to Konoha immediately. Don't let them roam the Land of Fire. Otherwise, who knows what might happen in the Land of Fire. Damn it, they only gave Hiruzen a gift. What about the Dark Ninja? He too has been silently contributing to Konoha, making huge contributions. Is Hiruzen the only one who has sacrificed for Konoha? I, the Dark Ninja, am not satisfied. Although I hide in the shadows, I still silently dedicate myself to Konoha. So, if there isn't a statue bigger and more handsome than Hiruzen Sarutobi, I, the Dark Ninja, who has silently devoted myself to Konoha, will absolutely not be satisfied. I will even have a divine robe carved on it, and it must be incredibly handsome. You know, this is the child who led the Land of Whirlpools to victory, Danzo said solemnly. He's not an ordinary child, so they definitely have a conspiracy. No, they're within the Land of Fire's territory. Even if they have a conspiracy, we'll detect it immediately, Kaoru Utatane said equally solemnly. But if the refugees aren't dealt with, it will become a potential source of unrest in the Land of Fire. HMPH. Danzo said disdainfully. Just a bunch of ordinary people. If they cause trouble in the Land of Fire. Sigh. Hearing Danzo's extreme thoughts, Hiruzen Sarutobi sighed. Although he was called a ninja hero, the strongest Kage, but those were just what others said. He didn't believe he had surpassed the first or second Hokage. He was merely inheriting Hashirama's ideals, dedicated to protecting the peace of Konoha and the peace of the ninja world. So, everything he did was for the ninja world. Danzo's actions would tarnish Konoha's reputation, so as the peace ambassador of the ninja world, how could he allow himself to be tarnished? Danzo, your thinking is too extreme. Hiruzen Sarutobi put down his pipe and said, as a ninja, how can you kill civilians at will? Hiruzen. Danzo was furious that his best friend didn't understand him. Everything he had done was for Konoha. You'll regret this, Hiruzen. Danzo sat down, narrowing his eyes as he spoke calmly. Once things begin, there's no going back. Konoha and the Uzumaki clan had long been enemies. What kind of generational friendship was this? How laughable. Shut up. Hearing Danzo's ramblings, Hiruzen Sarutobi immediately put down his pipe and said sternly, it's decided. I agree to temporarily lend him the area adjacent to the Land of Whirlpools for 1 month. But during this time, Konoha ninjas must be allowed to observe. If anything is found to harm Konoha's interests, it must be immediately reclaimed. Kaoru Utatane, this matter is entrusted to you. Yes. You'll regret this. Hearing that Hiruzen Sarutobi had made his decision, Danzo snorted coldly and walked out with a livid face. Sigh. Hiruzen Sarutobi shook his head helplessly. Back then, he had entrusted his good friend with dealing with the darkness of Konoha, but he hadn't become darkness himself. Now Danzo had become somewhat extreme. Fortunately, he had consulted him before doing anything, otherwise. Sigh. Hiruzen Sarutobi sighed. As his best friend, who had taken the blame for him for so many years, he hoped he wouldn't fall into darkness again. Lord Danzo. Danzo, his face ashen, walked out of the Hokage building. A Jonin from Route approached him, bowing respectfully. Danzo looked coldly at the ninja before him and said indifferently, Have Kazuhiro lead a group of Jonin to keep an eye on the ninjas of the land of whirlpools. If they make any moves that threaten the village, kill them immediately. Yes. Danzo glanced back at the Hokage building, muttering, some things must be done by me, the Dark Ninja. Come, take a look. Uzumaki-jun, holding a homemade paper megaphone made by Uzumaki-jun, addressed a group of emaciated, lifeless refugees with blank stares, saying with a smile, the land of whirlpools is recruiting. As long as you. Although he felt ashamed, he, a dignified elite Jonin, was doing this kind of thing. This should be done by Gato. But, this was Lord Jun's order, and he had to carry it out. Although tears were welling up inside, Uzumaki-jun still smiled and asked, where's the land of whirlpools? It borders the land of fire. Ordinary people can reach it in about 2 days. Furthermore, the land of whirlpools is an ally of Konoha, the peace ambassador of the ninja world, so its reputation is guaranteed. They would never do anything to mistreat us. The scenery here is beautiful, the resources are abundant, and the people are friendly. The country's leaders are kind and welcoming. And so, don't hesitate, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and sign up. Uzumaki-jun looked at Uzumaki-jun's advertisement and nodded in satisfaction. He was a little shy and reserved, otherwise the effect would definitely be better, but it wasn't bad now. At least he saw these ordinary people, numb from life, starting to show some interest. As long as they were interested, that was good. He was afraid they wouldn't be interested. He secretly gave Uzumaki-jun a wink. Uzumaki nodded knowingly and said, now, the land of whirlpools is officially starting to distribute hot porridge and hot water for free. Everyone, please line up to receive yours. Sure enough. Upon hearing about free food and drink, the refugees began to stir, frantically running in the direction Uzumaki pointed. Everyone, be orderly. Be orderly. Don't rush. Don't worry, the land of whirlpools has prepared plenty, everyone will get some. Don't rush. Line up. Those who don't line up won't get anything. Whirlpool ninjas, maintain order. Anyone not lining up will be dragged out. Under Uzumaki's barrage of threats and inducements, the refugees slowly formed a line under the guidance of the Whirlpool ninjas. Looks like this harvest should be quite good. Uzumaki looked at the refugees lining up with satisfaction. This was just the beginning. He glanced at the Konoha ninjas beside him, who were clearly displeased that he had used Konoha's reputation to recruit people. How, were they wrong? They were right. The entire ninja world knows that Konoha and the Uzumaki clan have been friends for generations. Just as Zuan Wosun was deep in thought, he felt someone tugging at his sleeve. He saw. The day after tomorrow, the 17th, is a strong day for ranking up, so everyone remember to support us. And please give us some recommendation votes. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all, see you in the next video.